You damn right. Hope everybody is having a good Wednesday. Hump Day arrives here in May with a little more rain coming, depending on where you are. We hope everybody is safe and sound from last night, because rain did go through parts of this area. It'll continue to do it the next few days. So hope you need the rain. Hope you get the rain you want on your lawn, but you don't get any crazy weather and damage to fences and roofs and all that. Hope everybody is having a good one. Hope you had a chance to enjoy maybe some NBA, maybe some NHL. Maybe if you're a freak like me, a little dog show last night. We'll get to all of that. I'll hit you with a dog show recap in the crap bag. Plus, well, looky there. The folks in West Virginia say Huggy Bear gets to keep the job. We will tell you what the punishment is coming up. We will start with some NBA. There's plenty of football to get to. Tomorrow is one of those holidays that the NFL has kind of invented. It's schedule day, and we've already got a little information to share with you. It's Chad and Zay on a Wednesday. I am Chad Hastings. He is the Bowie Bulldog himself, Isaiah Collier. What's up, Zay?
What's poppin', Chad? Feeling good this Wednesday, hump day. Happy hump day, everybody. How you doing?
Man, I'm good. I wish I had enough guts to throw money down on my NBA gut yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I was wrong about both them games.
Unbelievable. You said you liked those other two teams, and as you were saying it, I thought, wow, I'm exactly the opposite here. I think it is one road team and one home team, but I felt like Denver was consistent enough and they were going to win, and then I felt like Philly would win. I did not think it would look like that, though. Two very definitive victories. We'll talk about that. We will preview tonight's action. There's a lot of basketball to hit. There's some football stories we are going to get into today. There might, Cowboys fans, there might be a comment out there that might make you feel good about Dak Prescott. Sometimes those don't exist. Sometimes they're hard to find. We may have found one for you today. We may have gotten it done. It apparently sent me into puberty. We might. Woo! Hear how excited I am?
Somebody on the Specs text line says, Chad, okay? Because you're damn right. Wasn't, I guess, to their standards, up to par.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Very disrespectful. I thought it was on point as usual.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. There was a little less in his intro today. Should I try to redo?
No,
just
one hit a quitter.
Just one? Okay.
Yeah, we'll see tomorrow.
I thought it was, someone else says you need to trademark the You want me to try to trademark just the sound? I don't think we could do that. Well, we'll give it a shot, though. I'll run that up the flagpole and see what happens. All right, it is Wednesday. Remember, if you have anything to throw in, Specs text line is 337-3776. If you're in need of fine food and spirits and stuff for parties and all that, Specs is always a great location. Mine would be the Specs in Elgin. Shout out. Just don't pull up on Sunday. They're not open.
Yeah.
I always get caught by that. Grocery stores, liquor stores.
I thought they changed the rule. Like it used to be noon, right?
There's a part of that.
Sunday?
There's a part of the rule that's changed, I think, at the grocery store level, but I still think the liquor stores have to be closed.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's still there. So that one does get me every once in a while. All right, so if you have anything you want to throw in, the Specs text line, always there for you. We will start with a little NBA action and work our way towards some football stuff. Last night, it was 2 all series, and the math is pretty simple. You're up at like 82% chance to win. So 8 out of 10, that's not bad, right? If you win the game at 2 all. Philly and Denver both got it done. Zay, your choice. Which one you want to start with here? Which of these clear, definitive wins was more impressive to you?
Philadelphia, the 76ers, going up to Beantown in Game 5 and getting it done the way they did, being up by double digits majority of the game. That was very impressive. Shout out to Doc Rivers for making some big-time adjustments. This Boston Celtics team, they're so interesting because they get back to what we saw a year ago before they found their groove. Like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown last year, 2021, 2022 season, they were having issues in the first part of who's going to be the man, who's going to take the last shots. And then, when Ime Udoka let it be known, Jason Tatum, he's our best player. Jaylen Brown's one of the best two-way players in the league, so Tatum's the closer. Those guys kind of figured it out. And now both of those guys playing as well as they are playing, it's like Marcus Smart and Malcolm Brogdon, they took a back seat. They can't do that because those guys have to be good. Malcolm Brogdon's a sixth man of the year. He has to be good in order for this team to be nice. And Al Horford, his shooting percentage in the playoffs is awful. And he's one of the best three-point shooters in the league for a big man, was all year long. Like, you can't count on that. You can't count on that. So they become easy to guard. And one of the worst things that could have happened to the Sixers was PJ Tucker's now started to hit shots. So before, you weren't worried about PJ Tucker in those 3 games that the Sixers lost. He was not making anything. He wasn't even taking shots. And now he's hitting a couple. So now they're kind of getting out there a little bit more, which is freeing up James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid. And I go back to Doc Rivers because the adjustments he made, they were so different than what we've seen throughout the series early on. First off, Joel Embiid, he finally got his legs back. Like, that was the MVP Joel Embiid we saw all year long. Yep. It seemed like game 2, James was being a little passive, even though he had 40-something in game 1, and he was trying to get Joel Embiid back into his rhythm, and James should have been aggressive for that game because it's going to take Joel Embiid a while to get into his rhythm. These last 2 games, he found it. That rhythm is there. And Doc Rivers putting James Harden and Joel Embiid in those pick and rolls, it reminded me of Dylan Dessou this past season. Remember when Dylan Dessou, he would come off those pick and rolls, and instead of crashing all the way to the basket for layups, he would stop for that little short floater or that nice mid-range jumper. That's all they did yesterday. Joel Embiid had about 4 of those mid-range jumpers around the free throw line off a pick and roll. He wasn't going towards Al Horford or Robert Williams like he was doing in game 4 where Al Horford was blocking his shot and stuff.
He was kind of hanging in that Anthony Davis area.
Oh, he was chilling, and he was
comfy.
knocking it down.
Yeah.
He hit a couple of threes. He hit that, crazy, the ball bounced around the rim, about 5 or 6 times to start the game. And that got him going. And James Harden, he didn't have to put up 40 for them to win because Tyrese Maxey was locked in. And come playoff time, that's why big threes are so legendary. That's why, Bird, McHale, Parrish, Magic, Worthy, Kareem, all those guys, Rodman, Pippen, Jordan, big threes are huge in the playoff time because when your first 2 stars aren't performing, or even if they are performing, somebody else has to step up. And Tyrese Maxey, what he did yesterday.
Ooh, mercy.
God, just a Dallas kid. Just a straight-up Dallas kid. Full speed. I don't give a damn who's guarding me. I don't give a damn who's in front of me. I'm scoring. I'm taking my shots. James Harden, you going to be a future Hall of Famer? So? MVP, Joel Embiid, you last MVP? So? I feel like I'm the man. Nobody could guard me, and I finally got my shot, and all that attention that comes from James Harden with the last 2 76ers wins freed up Tyrese Maxey, and he took advantage. So that was very shocking to me. Tobias Harris, he's been a lot better throughout the playoffs as they've gone along. Those 16 points that he had, they were solid. And going back to Philly, the Celtics, they're in trouble. And I still think they could get it done. I still think they could win the series, but they're going to need more from Al Horford, Derek White, Marcus Smart, who's beat up last, I don't know what. Talk about somebody that looks like they're limping around. Every time Marcus Smart falls, they talk about him having some type of injury. His elbows, his knees, his ankles, his shoulders. Like, Marcus Smart is toe up. But that's the way he plays. Like, he plays that grit and grind style, and if you play that way the whole 82 games and then to the playoffs, you're going to be nicked up more than others. So, Malcolm Brogdon, 7 points. Nah, you're 6th man of the year. You got to be better. And again, a lot of people talk about Joe Mazzulla. This might be too big of a moment for him with his age, only 33 years old. Doc Rivers, say what you want about his postseason record. He's won a championship before in that same town that Joe Mazzulla is trying to get it done in. So he's had a lot of experience. He's had a lot of, he's been in these situations before where you've had to adjust, and he made those adjustments. Big time win for the Sixers last night.
Zay, help me out here. When Udoka was the coach of the Celtics, were they chunking this many threes? 38 of them last night.
Ooh.
Were they shooting that many in a game? I feel like they are so reliant on those threes.
They would shoot them. They would still shoot them.
Horford 0 for 7.
See, man.
He literally gave you nothing last night. You mentioned Brogdon. He hit 1 3. He gave him 7 points, but that just wasn't enough. It just feels like there's Mazzulla, we talked about Mazzulla and some of the coaching decisions, not respecting the fact that you have timeouts, not getting for everything you just said about Smart, there were 2 massive possessions in the previous game where their plan ended up being, let's just see what happens, and at the end, Marcus Smart's going to hoist one up. And in one case, he didn't even do it in time. That's what happened in the last game. You're the Boston Celtics, and you have this level of talent. It just doesn't feel like they have elite playoff level coaching and communication right now. I feel like those guys are being cast out and kind of being left to their own devices. And I don't know if Doc Rivers can outcoach everybody else in the playoffs. I think he can certainly outcoach this dude.
Right.
And I don't know, moreover, I don't know if Philly can win the whole thing, Zay. They feel like they can when they play Boston, though. Right. Watching this matchup, I feel like, A, Doc Rivers is a great coach, and B, they're a great team that can win it all. I'm not sure if those things are actually true.
Well, they keep testing Joel Embiid when they drive. When I said, hey, test that knee out in game 2, like, let's see how it is.
You did.
Let's stop testing it. We tested it. We failed. The test, you failed. We tested it out, and he had 5 blocks last night. Every time you tried to throw a layup up and you thought you got by him, he said, give me that.
We got
Give me that, boy.
We have the results of your test in. You're going to need to think of something else.
You got to think of something else. We got to start thinking of floaters. We got to start hitting mid-range jumpers. And you're right, Chad, 38 attempts from the 3, that's too much because in playoff time, you can't play in the regular season how you do in the playoffs. You just don't. They're going to take away your threes. They're going to take away your layups. So what does that mean? 3-level scoring. What's left? Mid-range shooting.
Right.
Jason Tatum doesn't shoot enough mid-range shots. Jaylen Brown doesn't shoot enough mid-range shots.
And they both should.
Yeah.
Because they both can be great at it.
And this might be the first time in playoff history we've ever seen James Harden do it comfortably.
Yeah.
And he knows that I got to hit mid-range shots. I got to hit floaters.
Turnaround.
Yeah, I got to shoot. I got to be in the post a little bit. I got to mix it up because they're playing my 3 because they know I like it. And they know I like to get to the rim and make plays for others. So, I mean, you got to change it up. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. And it's so easy to throw all the blame on Missoula just because Ime Udoka's not here. And they got to the finals last season. But there are a lot of things I thought Ime Udoka should have done in the finals against the Golden State Warriors that he did not do. So the playoffs are going to expose you no matter what, from your coaching to your stamina to your skill to your toughness. All of those things it takes to win a championship. And if one of those things you're struggling at and the opposing team thrives at, you're going to get exposed.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting to really see that in all of these series.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. Boston was unable to, it didn't feel, it's weird to watch a game from that city in the NBA. The way I grew up watching Boston and Larry and all those dudes, they always look so comfortable at home. There were advantages people would talk about they would have at home. All those different things.
I mean, if you knew Red Auerbach could whack you after the game because you're a coach, you have a thought, oh, man, if I make this traveling call on Larry Bird, I might die. I might not be able to walk out the garden after this.
Some would say there's that on some angles. Some would talk about the floor itself and how weird it was and dead spots, and they'd crank the air conditioning off and make it just an incinerator in there and all those different things. But last night it didn't look like they were playing in Boston. They didn't look comfortable, didn't look like they had a rhythm. Crowd didn't know what to do, and by the end, the Sixers were clearly better. So, shout out to Embiid, 33. I think you're right. He does feel like he's healthier again. And then that's kind of what I've been talking about, and I was asking you about, Zay. I asked it about Embiid and Harden. Could you get them both playing really well at the same time? It ended up being Embiid and Maxey. If that dude is going to play like that, James Harden gets to kind of step back a little bit and try some other things. All right, I'll dish when I need to. Okay, I'll take the shot when I need to, but I got this dude giving me 30?
It's tough, man.
That Boston could not have expected that.
Yeah, and it's a deflating 30 because he's running so fast. Like, he looks so much more athletic than everybody else, all the other guards. Mm-hmm. He's so much faster than Brogdon. He can't stay in front of him. He's faster than Derek White. And then with Marcus Smart, as banged up as he is, he don't want to guard him for the full 48 minutes.
Yep.
So as good as the defenders are for the Boston Celtics, which I think they have the best defensive core for guards in the association, them playing against Tyrese Maxey and then going from James Harden, and both of those guys having a different game, that's hard to deal with too, Chad. Because if you're guarding James Harden, you know how James plays, slow, methodical. He'll dribble between his legs like 5 times before he makes a move, and he'll go off pick and rolls, and he takes his time. He uses his body and stuff, while Tyrese Maxey is full speed, like a Ferrari, just going right at you over and over again. If you're switching off from Harden and Tyrese Maxey, that's tough because you got to switch your whole mindset on, okay, I'm guarding James Harden this way. I know what he likes in this. And, oh, man, Tyrese Maxey, I'm checking him now. He just went right past me.
Yeah.
Like, that's really hard to deal with.
That's a good point. And moreover, Embiid's game has a slowness to it, a deliberate quality to it. So you kind of get a pace in your head of how the Sixers are coming at you, and you're right. And then Maxey flies right by.
Yo,
that's a great mix.
Oh, it's a great mix. Tyrese, Andrew, Tony Maxey.
Oh,
that's
there
how he
you
looked
go.
Last night, Boston Strangler.
There you go.
That's what it looked like.
Oh, that's one of the first basketball teams I really fell for, other than my Mavs. I love that Sixers team back in the day.
They have a lot of similarities. This Sixers team to that like 83 team that won it all. They got a big man MVP like Moses Malone. They got really kind of aged guard play, what Julius Erving was, and Maurice Cheeks and James Harden and then Andrew Toney, him being that kind of, I could get you a bucket at any time in the game. Tyrese Maxey has a lot of that in him. So, yeah, man, I did not see that coming. Well done by Doc Rivers. I don't think we give him enough credit because we always hate on him due to his previous records and stuff in the playoffs. He did a terrific job last night.
So now Philly will get a chance to go home in Game 6 and close the door. It'll be Denver on the road trying to close it after what they pulled off last night. Last night at home, Denver beats Phoenix 118-102. Before we hit this first break, let's give the Joker his love. Another triple-double, 29, 13, and 12. Zay, he now has more triple-doubles than any center ever. He just passed Wilt Chamberlain on that list, and he's got, in the list of most triple-doubles with 60% shooting from the field, he now has 2 of those. LeBron's got 4 and Wilt's got 5. So he's third all-time with Magic now on that list. Nikola Jokic continuing to just be a freak.
Yeah, Nikola Jokic is playing against high elite athletic competitors while Wilt Chamberlain was playing against steel mill workers, milkmen, postmen, lawyers, guys who were smoking cigarettes at halftime and stuff, and he was 7 foot playing against a lot of 6'5" guys. So there's a big difference there. Just letting y'all know, y'all old heads, oh, Jay just hate. No, I'm just keeping it real, just keeping it 100 with y'all. I have to. That's my job. But yeah.
I really did think you were about to give Wilt Chamberlain credit. Actually, no, I didn't. I set you up to do exactly that. For those of you who love Wilt Chamberlain, I apologize. I just love to hear him talk
Where's the 100 film?
I like
Where is it?
Did you mention?
There's no film on him dropping 100. Why? Because he was dropping it on guys that look like you and me.
Did you say black lung in the run?
Oh, yeah, I don't think I said that. I said steel mill workers, but
you
black
said steel mill.
Yes.
Black lung
it
is
comes
always,
with it.
That's my favorite part. Yeah, I like black lung. I do like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Joker was a freak last night, and much like Philly had an unexpected second leading scorer, Bruce Brown with 25 off the bench.
Tough.
Can you explain that to me?
I mean, he got to the free throw line. He hit 9 out of 10. He cuts really well off of Nikola Jokic. And when you have Jamal Murray in and Michael Porter Jr. along with Joker, and you have Brown in, Mike Malone, great coaching, just like Doc Rivers, he was putting Nikola Jokic in inverted pick and rolls, where Joker, being the big man in the center, which they do this a lot anyway, he was utilizing Brown and Eric Gordon to go set the screens. And those guys who are guarding them, they're not the key defenders. They're not. So Joker was getting anything he wanted. And the Nuggets at their best, everybody has to be good. Like, Joker doesn't want to get the 53. I said that yesterday. He does not want to do that.
He wants to do what he did last night.
He wants to do what he did last night. He wants to spread the ball around, 14 assists, get guys like Brown going. Murray had 19. Michael Porter Jr. hit 5 threes. He wants to do that. And man, he is something special. His stats in this series just are absolutely ridiculous.
No, it's silly, man.
You got first game, 24, 19, and 5. Game 2, 39, 16, and 5. Game 3, 30, 17, and 17. Game 4, 53, 4, and 11. Then game 5 last night, the 29, 13, and 12. DeAndre Ayton, Look, man, this might be it for you as a son. I don't know what they're going to do, but he looks like he's not even invested. He looks scared.
Yeah, and he's getting ripped on not just by regular media folk like me. He's getting ripped on by specific media folk that have played the game, like you and J.J. Redick and Jay Williams and dudes that have played at that level. You who've played basketball at some level, them who've played it at the NBA level, y'all are all ripping into him.
Right, and nobody could stop Joker. Nobody. But you got to at least show that you're locked in. You got to know. You got to make him work. He's not even making them work, it seems like. And again, that just goes to how good Joker is, but also the expectation coming out of Arizona. People were giving DeAndre Ayton Admiral comparisons. They said this dude is going to be the next David Robinson. And I was like, okay, I didn't believe that one bit, because that was the same draft Luka came out and I said Luka should be number one. I was on WAG Show 2018 talking about that. Also, I was like, yeah, I'd take Luka, but everybody's kind of scared about these European guys coming over. Andre Bargnani going to the Toronto Raptors when he did in the early 2000s. So they didn't want to take that chance.
Yeah.
And it ended up biting them. And it's just, gosh, man, you just got to show some type of toughness. Slow them down. Then on the offensive end, do something like the 14 points. Like, that's not enough. KD and Book with no Chris Paul, that is not enough.
Yeah, somebody else has got to come along, and you're right. Somebody's got to give him 20.
Right, and you're supposed to be that third guy, especially with Chris Paul out. Usually you're the fourth, but you're supposed to be the third guy. And remember, this was a team that was in the finals 2 years ago without Kevin Durant. They were in the finals with Mikal Bridges and Payne and stuff like that. Like, I know Chris Paul was a different player then than he is now, but Book, he's gotten better. And now you got KD, and all DeAndre Ayton has done is digress. Like, he hasn't gotten better. He's just been passive, gotten worse. I don't know what it is, but it's a huge problem. And Monty Williams, they're trying to play like Jock Landale. Jock Landale's like 6'8", trying to guard Joker. And he's playing them hard. He had a hell of a game 3, and he can space the floor and stuff. But you shouldn't be playing no Jock Landale at all. You shouldn't be playing that dude. Ain't no way, not during this time of the year. They need way more from Ayton, and yeah, he's been awful really all playoffs.
They need two things in Game 6 or they're done. They need Ayton to play better like you're talking about, and if that bench doesn't show up back at home, it's over. It's done. Durant could score 50, and they may still lose. If they can't get enough, that bench has to be effective, and I agree with you, and Ayton has to show up.
One thing I think that hurt Monty Williams was not playing those bench guys that he's playing now, from TJ Warren to Terrence Ross, not playing them in Denver in game 1 and 2, because they don't know what to expect. If you play those guys in game 1 and 2, they could get used to the altitude, they could get used to the fans and just how, Denver people operate and stuff. They play game 3 and 4 at home. Very different. Right. Now you got to go back on the road. You're tied 2-2, and you're expecting those guys to do the same thing they did at home.
Well, it's a
lot different.
Yeah, that's a great point, because there's already that thing about role players on the road, but this is role players on the road with the altitude issue.
Yes.
That's a different vibe. Crowd's one thing, but crowd and your lungs are affected too. You got to get them used to it. That's a good point.
Yeah, everybody just thinks, they're professionals. They should just be in shape. No, not everybody is working out in the summer like crazy. Not everybody has that Steph Curry stamina like you. That's why LeBron's gone to 9 straight finals. Or 10, whatever he's done.
Yeah.
You got to have ridiculous stamina. You got to be ridiculously durable. And if you aren't, like I said before, you're going to get exposed. And there's a lot of guys that once they get this time of the year, they get beaten up, they tired, they went in because they're not used to playing this time of the year. They're just not.
Somebody texted us, Joker's the champ of triple doubles, but not rings. He will fall like Karl Malone.
Damn.
We'll see if that's what the story is by the end. He is trying to make a point here that it is hard to make. We talked about that. Just because you get triple doubles does not mean you get rings. That's not a bad text, because go back over the greatest triple double guys of all time. They don't all have a ton of rings, but Joker is trying to prove that they can get to that level, that he can be this type of guy at center and get them a ring. They are up 3-2 now, and they'll try to close out. Again, they're trying to close on the road tomorrow. Philly will be trying to close at home. so there's a little difference there. We're going to be talking later on about these other two games tonight. Tonight, it is the same situation once again. It's two road teams trying to finish it so they don't have to go back for a game 6. NBA providing a lot of great drama right now. Also, quick congrats to the Dallas Stars. They got the win last night against Seattle in Seattle, got their home ice back, at least for now. That is a 2-all series. We'll mention a little bit of that as we go along. But up next, let's get to some football. Tomorrow is full schedule release day, but we are getting a little bit of info from the NFL today. We'll tell you about those, plus what one player said about Dak Prescott that maybe should get you excited if you're a Cowboys fan. We'll tell you who it was and what it was next on The Horn. All right, this is Chad. Let's talk sinus and snoring specialists. One of the most important things you can do in life in general is take care of yourself, take care of your health, and make sure that you're sleeping and resting well. That's something I was not doing back in 2017. I had moderate obstructed sleep apnea, so I was just those too many times during the night, I would literally stop breathing. With sinus and snoring specialists, they're able to have you do a sleep test. You sleep in your own bed, sleep in whatever position you normally do, and then they use that information to figure out what they need to do. They have all kinds of different options to help you with stuff like that. So it could be for you, could be more serious sleep apnea, maybe not as bad. Maybe it's all about allergies for you. Maybe it's about sinus infections and sinus headaches and sinus issues. They can deal with all of that, and it is just incredible the way that they do it. I'm so glad I went in 2017, and now this far past, what am I, almost to, it was end of March, so I'm past 6 years since I went in there. Dr. Slaughter and his crew do a great job. He prides himself on meeting you in that first consultation and keeping those appointment times, because he knows how valuable your time is. Call and set up an appointment, 512-601-0303, or go to sinussnoringent.com. It's sinus and snoring specialists. Feel clear, rested, and healthy. What a fantastic lyric to start a song. You got to look both ways before you cross my mind. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, you recognize that voice?
Oh, man, I feel like I should.
Yeah, you should.
That's an old.
Like
this is old school back in the day.
This isn't an old school song, but that person's very old school.
Yeah, that was golly. Yeah, I'm not sure. Who is it?
Bootsy Collins.
Oh my God! See, I was about to. say,
Yeah, he was just talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been a guess. If I was going to guess somebody, I should have guessed Bootsy. Okay, so that's him talking.
Yeah. So we are going Austin City Limits list today. It came out yesterday. And yeah, pretty stacked list per usual. It's ACL. I mean, it's always good.
Okay.
And this is Kaliushis.
Kaliushis.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's not the headliner, but on the first row, she's the first one on the first row. So she's big time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kaliushis. A new artist, or she's been around a while?
She's been around a little bit, but she's still newish.
Okay. All right. So that gets us started. We'll have artists that'll be at ACL this year, which is October, right?
Yeah.
For ACL? Yeah. They've announced the list. Excuse me. Some good stuff there. And also remember this week, we're going to take our album swap discussion and move it to Friday. Give us an extra day to think on things. Friday at 1:05. I have gotten started with A Tribe Called Quest and the Low End Theory. Zay is going to be listening to Metallica's Ride the Lightning. Have we gotten started yet?
Yep.
Okay, there we go. But not finished yet.
No.
That's where I am. Yes, I've started but not finished. We had one listener yesterday text in, both are greatness. So I love that we had a listener out there that's familiar with both Ride the Lightning and the Low End Theory. So we'll get you our thoughts on that coming up on Friday. I'll get you a little sneak peek. I don't think I'm going to hate this album. I don't think I'm going to hate on this Tribe Called Quest album. It's pretty impressive so far. Pretty impressive.
What Q-Tip and Fife are talking about, never hear again.
Pretty impressive so far. I'm really enjoying it. I'm glad you picked that one. All right, so we'll get into that later in the week. Also, later in the week, it is a weird holiday that I don't think ever existed when I was a kid. I don't think there was a day in May where everybody found out what the NFL schedule was going to be. I do not remember if that was actually the case. But now we get this every spring when the NFL says to the NBA and the NHL and anybody else that's in a spring football league or two, says, hey, fellas, ladies, if you could just calm down, we have something to announce. And then everybody has to stop. So tomorrow is full schedule release day. So if you're a big NFL freak, tomorrow's when you find out who are you playing, when are you playing your division games, early, late, how do they pack those together? Where are your road games? Do you have back-to-back road games? Are they making you go 3 in a row on the road? Would they dare do that? Thursday games, Monday games, how it all schedules out. That obviously will be tomorrow. And usually they do that in the evening. So by the time we get done tomorrow, we probably won't know everything even at that point. We'll break it down on Friday. But I'm guessing we're going to get a couple things. Maybe the first Monday night or first Sunday night, things like that tomorrow.
Well, we already got 6 on the schedule.
But today we get a few things.
Right.
Today we get
a little snippet,
little international love,
and trailer.
And then what I think is the biggest story, Zay, is this Black Friday game. Because the NFL likes to occasionally remind college football that they don't care about college football scheduling. And this is one of them, where they did it with Thanksgiving a few years ago. Hey, you know how you guys like to put Egg Bowl or Texas and Texas A&M or something like that on Thanksgiving night? Yeah, we're going to put a game on Thanksgiving night now. Well, yeah, but you guys used to just do the Lions and the Cowboys. Yeah, we know. We're going to do on every Thanksgiving night. And we'll play whoever we want. We'll play really good teams. We'll make sure both teams are good. Okay, so college football had to deal with that. Now they've got to deal with Black Friday. Black Friday, Miami and the Jets. Aaron Rodgers hosts Tua. Hopefully everybody's healthy and ready to roll for that one. That's your Black Friday game this year. What do you think about NFL on Black Friday? You on board?
Hell yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to knock the NFL. I know those Thursday night games could be tough depending on the matchup. But, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm good with it. More NFL. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm already ready for a comeback. As much as I love the NBA, I'm ready.
We all know they could kick these games at 1 a.m. on a Wednesday, and we'd all watch.
Oh, my alarm will be ready.
We'd figure it out.
Yeah.
Miami and New York there. Then you got international games, and man, if you're one of those old school NFL heads and you're thinking, why do they always go play, in Europe, and why do they play in London, and why do they play in Germany and everything? Ooh, Mexico City in the past. You got to get used to it, I guess, or just don't pay attention, because more and more teams, not just bad teams, are going to these international sites. So now we've got 5 games announced for London and Germany, 3 in London, Atlanta and Jacksonville, and then Jacksonville's going to stay over, Zay, and play Buffalo the next week. So you were asking me about Jacksonville today. Everybody remember the Khan ownership group that owns the Jags. They have a presence over there in Europe, and I think they're part owners of like one of the big soccer teams. Soccer freaks, you can tell me which one it is. Text me 337-3776, Specs text line. Remind me which one it is. But I believe that Khan has has one of those teams that he deals with, and plus, you hear us talk pro wrestling occasionally. That's AEW's group, and they've got a big event over at Wembley this summer as well. So they do a lot of stuff over there. Jacksonville will play 2 games in London. My God, Zay, talk about some travel issues.
Yeah, and if I was the Jaguars, I'd be pissed, because this is a year that they're going to be picked to win the AFC South with all the who knows what's going to happen. We don't know what Anthony Richardson's going to be. We don't know what C.J. Stroud's going to be. And who knows what's going to happen with Will Levis and Tennessee and Ryan Tannehill. I've been hearing rumors about they're going to drop Malik Willis, which is not surprising, but it kind of is if you look at him being the 3rd-round pick in the 2022 draft. So Jacksonville Jaguars going to the playoffs last year, winning the game in the playoffs, having that 24-point comeback against the Los Angeles Chargers, getting Calvin Ridley. They're going to be picked to win the South, and they should be. So will this alter them having success? Because this is tough. This is different. That's a lot of jet lag. You're going to get used to being in the UK for a little bit. Then you got to come back home and adjust back to the NFL schedule in the States. So I'm going to be paying some close attention to that. And Doug Peterson's crew, which, again, they are such a good juggernaut team offensively. Like Calvin Ridley, that was such a good get. We know what Christian Kirk is, Zay Jones, Travis Etienne running the football, and we expect Trevor Lawrence coming in year 3 to be even better than what he was last year, take away some of those stupid mistakes. We know he likes to take risks. That's kind of the beauty of him, the fact that he's not scared to make certain throws, but he has to clean up a lot if they want to have the success that they want to have and surprise even more people than what they did last year. I like the Jags this year. I really do.
By the way, I just got a text from Calvin Ridley. He's asking, can I bet in London? Is that okay? Yeah, somebody needs to talk to him. Somebody
he needs to know.
Somebody really needs to talk to him.
Maybe just college teams, Calvin.
But here's
not on the facility.
This is the other thing, Zay. We're all going to have to get used to now more and more. We're getting really good teams and matchups. I just mentioned Buffalo. You talked about how, Jacksonville's not a joke anymore. Atlanta's not great right now. But how about this? Baltimore and Tennessee, October 15th in London. And then the 2 Germany games they announced, Miami and Kansas City in Germany, November 5th. And then November 12th, it's Indy and the Patriots. Now, the Indy may not be great this year, and the Patriots not going to be fantastic, but that's a big dog franchise
for sure
that they're making go, to Europe and play. So those are your international games this year in the NFL. So now we have technically got 6 games that we know. We don't have, kick times and networks yet, but we do have at least knowing when those are going to be. So all I'm saying for the NFL is, if y'all can't figure out the math that you need to give the Jacksonville Jaguars the bye week on the 15th of October, I don't know what to tell you. Because if you're going to make them go 2 weeks in London, when they come home, please don't make them play a game.
That'd be cold-blooded.
And please don't, God help you, please don't make them play that Thursday. Come on, let's be nice.
Do that.
Let's be nice.
They can't do that.
Please, let's be nice. Real quick before the break, Zay, can we get the people some Brandon Cooks talking about Dak Prescott? This might actually make me feel good.
Does it?
A little bit. Tell the people what Brandon Cooks said about his new quarterback, number 4, Dak Prescott.
Well, Brandon Cooks, he basically said, I've played with a lot of greats, and Dak Prescott, he could flat out sling it.
Okay.
So
Now, I asked the question, hey, to be fair, I haven't followed Brandon Cook's career that closely. Who's he played with? What quarterbacks has he caught passes from? And you laid out two pretty big names.
yeah, Tom Brady, Drew Brees.
Come on, Cowboys fans.
Yeah. Let me say the direct quote. I got it. I've been around some great ones, and we've been throwing. And I got to tell you, that guy could sling that ball. He's special. He said this about a week and some change ago.
Now, to be fair, he didn't say if he slings that ball like the great ones.
No.
If we're going to be fair. Hey, that's like saying, hey, I've dated some hotties, and I got to tell you, I went out with this girl, and we had a good time. Well, wait a minute. Are you saying she's one of the hotties? Or are you just saying – so, in a way, you could get him out of that. But as a Cowboys fan, I'm just always looking for good news. I'll take that as good news that Dak has impressed him a little bit. A little bit.
I mean, you know how I feel about Dak coming in this season. I think we're going to see a locked-in, focused Dakota Prescott. Just locked in. Are we going to run the ball, coach? With your husky self. Okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you run the football. I'm going to show you. Because that running back room, it ain't proven. Tony Pollard, okay, cool. How that knee looking, Tony? Deuce Vaughn, cool. I love Deuce Vaughn training with Micah Parsons and Jamar Chase. He looks locked in too, but hey, man, we talking about running the ball with those guys? I've been to the Pro Bowl how many times? You see my contract? I don't give a damn about them 17 interceptions. Okay.
Yeah. I get less and less excited about your argument as I hear you set this idea up of a quarterback defying his play caller. Like when you set this up and I don't feel any better about your idea. Like, I don't think that's how a quarterback should look at his play caller. It's not just his head coach. This is his play caller this year.
Yeah, you heard C.J. Stroud yesterday when Ryan Day brought in Quinn Ewers. It pissed him off a little bit.
Yeah, it made him mad.
It pissed him off a little bit.
No,
so anything, if you have to look at your coach sideways, go ahead. If that means more victories, if Big Mike would take Dak Prescott calling him completely out his name, if that means the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like he would. I'm not saying go Bob Huggins and call him something crazy like that.
No, don't do that.
I'm just saying something where, Dak, this is going to give you an extra edge. It's going to give you some extra juice. Call me what you want. Yeah. Say I'm Husky. Bring me McDonald's, etc.
I also love that you're giving Mike McCarthy that much credit. I hope you're right. I hope he's that clever and it actually works, but we'll see. So at least Brandon Cooks thinks Dak Prescott's looking pretty good right now. Take that for what it's worth, Cowboys fans. NFL schedule in full comes out tomorrow. We'll keep talking football. Up next in the crap bag, I get you a little dog show plus the Huggy Bear update. Sounds like West Virginia is going to let him keep the job. There is a punishment, though. We'll let you know what it is and which part of it I want to see. This is The Horn. We got a clean version here?
Yep.
Just making sure?
Just making sure.
Making sure.
I'd be there.
Because, it's kind of an intense song. It's one of the best intense songs ever. Oh, man. So, I did not realize that she was on the list for ACL. Alanis Morissette?
Yep, one of the headliners.
Very cool. Very cool. In all the world of, there's a lot of artists that have done songs about, their relationships, their life, love lost, love gained, happy, sad, all that. This was an important one along the way, though. This was such a big one along the way for it to be such a massive pop hit and so obvious what she was doing.
Yeah.
we're going to rip it all down. There's not going to be a whole lot of analogy here. We're going to go right to it. It was fantastic. And the fact that she had that little alt vibe to her, it made it scarier because you thought she could really hurt him. Like,
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I felt bad for Joey.
Like, there could be stuff burned in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
There really could.
Yeah, Joey from Full House. This was about him, right?
Technically, a lot of people thought it was about a lot of people thought it was Dave Coulier. And now, from everything I've heard over the years, my best theory is it was bits and pieces of different guys.
Okay.
I don't think it was one guy.
Okay.
There's been interesting little interviews, through the years that have kind of, that kind of, it was a good edit right there, by the way. I was just a little freaked out. But yeah, there's been a couple weird stories and some interviews with Bob Saget and others through the years have kind of led us to believe that I think it may have been a group of guys.
Yeah, she was scorned.
Yes. Yeah, she was upset. So there's kind of bits and pieces from different guys, I think. Alanis Morissette and Kaliushis are both going to be a part of ACL, and they've been a part of the show today. More great stuff from Zay coming musically today. We got a lot more conversation coming as well. Justin Wells of Inside Texas at 1:05. We'll ask him. He's a Cowboys fan. Is he excited to hear Brandon Cooks talk about Dak Prescott? Somebody hit us on the text line. Chad's just searching for anything to make him feel better about Prescott. That's probably fair. This text says he can sling it, and he can sling it to the right people are two different things. Another texter, Panic City, says Dak Prescott can definitely sling it to the other team. Okay, fine. And someone did remind me that the Khan family connection in soccer is Fulham FC is the team that they sent me. So there you go. And then someone pointing out our man Chris Bennett, NFL, and the Longhorns on Black Friday. That is going to be the case because we know Texas and I think it's Texas Tech this year that always ends up on that day after Thanksgiving. And now Black Friday is also going to be an NFL game with Miami and the Jets. All right, let's get into the crap bag. I'll get you a Bob Huggins update and talk some dog show as well. Brought to you by AV Consultations, 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. I admit, I did watch the Westminster Dog Show. I'm one of the few people that freaks out about this thing. They had it at the tennis facility. They had it at Arthur Ashe Stadium, which they've never done before. It was kind of cool to see. Since they have the retractable roof now.
Now, which dog show is this? This is
Westminster. This is the one
they doing tricks, or they just pretty?
The big part is a confirmation show, which is just they're walking around and, they look at them and check them out.
They're trained.
Oh, they're trained. Yeah, definitely trained.
They can't even do tricks like jump through hoops, go through the tunnel, nothing.
There is an agility part of it, but that wasn't what the last couple of nights have been. There's an agility part of it. There's some other things that they do, kind of other activities around it. This is hey, here's the dog. Judge checks them out. They run around a little bit, show everybody, and then you judge, hey, is that dog a better version of that dog than this dog, kind of a thing.
So like the dog combine.
Kind of, yeah. That's a good way to look at it. The winner is the PBGV. So now people are going to have to go learn what that is. A French dog, the Petit Basset Griffon Vendéen. And I think its name was Buddy Holly. So they were playing Buddy Holly music when it was rolling through. And since I'm a fan of hound dogs, it is 2 years in a row for the hound dogs to win. Last year it was the Bloodhound. This year the PBGV. I was rooting for that French bulldog because I kind of wanted the French bulldog to win. He was cute as hell. He showed pretty well, but he wasn't perfect. A little distracted at times.
A little distracted.
A little
Come
distracted.
on, yeah.
Can't be distracted on that best in
Can't
show,
be. You gotta
man.
be locked in.
That judge and man, the handler was trying everything he could. He had the hands going. He's got the treat, and he's trying to get his attention. And some of those
Joe Mazzulla, blame the trainer, blame the coach.
that could be it. And when you're a French bulldog, your face is naturally kind of sullen. It's flat. You got to do something. You got to give that judge. The big dogs have a disadvantage. The weird faced dogs that are cute, but you got to show a judge that you're excited. That's what they get into. Hard to beat them little dogs, man. I don't know why I don't know why I have the ability to break this down like that, but I'm just telling you. So congrats to Buddy Holly for getting that done. If you see some PBGVs out there, you know why. Sometimes people go get that best in show dog. All right, speaking of animals, let's talk Huggy Bear and his punishment. Zay, it's punishment and it's not a firing. I asked yesterday, does he get to keep the job? Apparently, he does. Bob Huggins will get a $1 million pay reduction from 4.2 to 3.2 million. Plus, he has to serve a significant suspension. I guess we'll find out what that is later. And he's got to go to sensitivity training.
Oh my gosh, West Virginia. Like, this isn't even a slap in the wrist. This is like a flick in the finger. Like, I don't even know what this is. So
$1 million a year? You don't think he'll feel $1 million a year?
No, he lives in West Virginia.
Okay. I'm just wondering.
You could probably get a 4-bedroom house for $80,000.
I would think if you lose $1 million a year, you might feel it, but you might be right. Here's what I want, though. If that has to happen, can we at least put the sensitivity training on television, and I'll pay-per-view that. I'll pay to see it, get subscribers, and then we can raise some money for good causes. Can I do that? Because I would love to see Bob Huggins in sensitivity training.
Yeah. I would enjoy to see that, too.
That would be priceless. But, Zay, I asked this question yesterday, and I'll point it out. Now that we're here, if the West Virginia folks are saying we don't care enough about what he said, he apologized, we think he's a good dude, and we want to move on in 2023 with social media and all the pressures that are there, do they get to do that? Do they get to make that choice and move on? Because you said I can tell it upsets you, but does it upset you like you'd get on social media and join a group of people try to stop it? Would you now get mad enough that you'd go on social media and try to pressure West Virginia to fire him?
If that happened to Rodney Terry, with me and Coach Terry being cool as we are, I'd have a hard time rooting for Coach Terry. I would want Texas to do well, but I would think Coach Terry as the worst. Just like I think Bob Huggins as the worst. Like, how can you go? A recruit already backed out. Yeah, like, a recruit was already supposed to go over there and take a visit for a transfer, and now he's not.
Really?
Just like that.
Wow.
So it's going to start happening. Yeah, shout out to my man Ethan Bach, who came on the right call last year. He was a West Virginia beat writer. He said RJ Sendera agreed to cancel his visit this week. Was coming up there. So that's it. It's going to keep happening. And they already don't get 5 and 4 stars anyway. They're going to have to get really desperate guys that never thought they would ever play D1 in their life. And Bob Huggins is going to give them a chance. They're just going to have to swallow their pride and say, you know what? I want to maybe play professional basketball. I never thought I'd get to D1, even though this dude's an absolute slime ball. Oh, well. And then they're going to get questioned. Like, man, you play for a guy that has these type of views? Same with their parents. Man, you're going to let your kids play for a guy that has these type of views? It stinks. It really stinks.
Somebody said, what would happen if Sark had said what he said? Fired? ? That's an interesting question.
That's very interesting.
Somebody says, I guarantee if he said that about blacks, gays, Muslims, etc., he would have been fired as soon as possible. Oh, the next sentence is fantastic, but I'm not reading it. I'm not reading that. I'm not headed down that road, but we do appreciate you listening to the show, Jim. We do appreciate that. So there are, that's where it sits now. And we'll see if West Virginia is going to.
I hope West Virginia doesn't win a game ever again.
There are going to be a lot of people obviously rooting against them. But if West Virginia is fine with losing those recruits, losing the transfer opportunities, and they're just saying, hey, he's our guy, does that get to happen? I heard this argument, too, is interesting. That's a public school, West Virginia, right? State school. You're not a private school and can make an argument there. So are there like public funds or state funds or anything that get affected by something like this? I don't know. We'll see. Or is it just so far up there and it's not a big brand that this story kind of goes away? The answer to their question of what happens if Sark says it, he probably doesn't survive.
No.
Not at a brand like Texas. If the head football coach at Texas or Bama or Georgia, all the big dogs nowadays, if Dabo said something like that, I don't think you get to hang out. But Huggins it's that borderline thing. It's what we talked about yesterday. That's why I brought it up. It's like he's a legend, but he's not the most elite of legends.
But he's one of them. He's from West Virginia, and he's one of them.
And it's the alma mater, right?
Yeah.
He's that guy, and it's that place. It's up in the mountains. It's West Virginia, and there's a whole lot of people up there that, A, love him, and B, probably do not care about what he said.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the ones that made this decision, they throwing this word around too. It ain't nothing. They probably say it with Bob. They be like, damn, Bob, you let it slip up. We just keep that in the room.
Yeah,
we just keep that closed door saying all that crazy stuff. Yeah, I wish I was surprised. I'm not. With the way this world is, not surprised one bit.
Quite a look from West Virginia. So Bob Huggins apparently will keep the job. Also, real quick, Crapbag TV Guide, the Rich and Shameless series that they have on TNT. Maybe you won't be interested in other episodes, but if you're a Longhorn fan, they just did one on Dennis Rodman and the money that he lost when someone he was associated with basically stole money from him. I never knew the part of the story that they also stole from Ricky Williams. Ricky and his former wife are on this show telling the details of it. It was a fascinating story. I finished it up this morning. That's on TNT. I think they're going to start running new episodes on like Wednesdays, but you can just do a search. Rich and Shameless is what it's called. And shout out to Ricky for going on that show and being as honest as he was about what happened to him. To shame what happens to some athletes when they trust certain people to take care of their money and take care of stuff. And in this one case, this woman stole a ton of money from Ricky and Dennis Rodman, among others. They're the biggest names. Yeah. I'd never heard that story.
Mm-hmm. People be talking about Aaron Rodgers. Damn shame for him not being close to his family. What if he can't trust them? Like, what if you just can't trust your family? Sometimes you got to let them go, no matter how close they are. And when you make this much money and you're so young, making that much money, you got to be really careful on who you let inside your circle and who you don't.
Yeah, it was crazy stuff to watch. So if you're a fan of either one of those guys, it might be something to check out. All right, coming up, your 1 o'clock hour in the Flex segment. We got a couple of big uglies on the Flex side and their updates as they get ready for another high school football season. Up next, though, we'll talk to Justin Wells of Inside Texas on 3.com. Texas basketball, Texas football right around the corner, and maybe a little Cowboys too. Don't move. It's Wednesday on the Horn. All right, let's go hour number 2 on this Wednesday. Hope you're having a good one. Hope you're dodging the raindrops. Rain all around the area. Hope we're getting just enough and not too much wherever you are. Chad and Zay with you on this Wednesday. I'm Chad Hastings. He is Isaiah Collier. We've hit the NBA. Philly and Denver getting big wins to go up 3-2 last night. Tonight, it's Miami and the Lakers with the same issue. They are trying to stop the series, go home, and not take the other one with them. They're on the road. They're trying to finish so they can go back home by themselves. Golden State and New York would like for the series to continue, and they would like to travel with those teams. Up 3-1 tonight. That's all on TNT. We'll get some breakdown of that coming up. And there's obviously football to talk about. NFL scheduling coming out tomorrow. And, of course, college football, always on the brain, only 115 days away from that first big weekend on September 2nd, where Texas will play Rice and the college football season gets underway. Let's go to the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline. It's our weekly visit with Justin Wells of Inside Texas and On3.com. Justin, how are you?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. I think summer is slowly approaching, getting a little bit more humid, getting a little bit more sunshine. Pretty well over here in the East Texas area. What about you guys?
Man, I'm telling you what, I just realized we ought to give y'all some kind of a buzzer that you can hit when you start to feel that humidity to let us all know it's coming. Because I think that's the end. There's parts of like Louisiana, probably Mississippi, Bama, Georgia, but there's also hunks of East Texas that we just need to give y'all a button where you could press it and then we would all find out, oh, Lord, here we go. That's what we need.
Yeah, the button's a good idea, but I think you could just look at people's faces and how much they're drenched in sweat as the number one indicator.
Yeah.
You know, like Lewis Black said, every time he went to Miami, he walked outside and he remembered after 5 minutes he forgot to put deodorant on his genitals.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right, let's get a little Texas football talk in here. I just mentioned 115 days till the game, but now we're starting to get a little bit from Sark here and there as the barnstorming tour is going on. And I know the last event had not only Sark but also Coach Terry and Coach Schaefer on the basketball side. Has anything come out of the Sark stuff that you feel is important right now, or is it just something to just kind of get people mildly fired up about the season?
It's really mostly to get fans and alum mildly fired up for the season. This is a typical thing that the coaches will do on a yearly basis. They go out, they interact with fans and alum from town to town and city to city. Our Joe Cook was in San Antonio last night for the event. He's headed to Dallas for the event this evening as well. And so if anything comes out of it that's super uber important, you got to go to Inside Texas to check it out. But right now, it's really just getting everybody aligned, kind of selling the program a little bit more, letting fans know where they are, what the culture's like. He did give us a little update on Jalen Gilbo, who had a knee injury last year. Said he's coming off of surgery, doing pretty well. There wasn't any much more than that. We're not sure if he's going to be ready in the summertime for contact yet, but overall, that's really the only update you really get. I think the biggest takeaway was when they handed the microphone to Vic Schaefer. And for 3 or 4 minutes, he started talking about what it's like to coach at Texas, what it's like to be around all these championship-level coaches, and what the football and basketball programs, men's have, all the stuff they have to look forward to from Steve Sarkisian and Rodney Terry. To me, Vic Schaefer kind of stole the show. That is a salesman and a half.
Yeah, Vic
No
Schaefer,
doubt.
when he comes on with Craig Way and Jeff Howe, he's definitely, everybody's locked in listening because that guy, he could talk some talk. But, Joe, looking at this football team, DraftKings just came out with their Big 12 win total projections, and they got Texas at 9.5 and OU at 9.5 and Kansas State at 8.5. Anything that you see right there is alarming, or does that just sound right with what you've seen with this roster with Texas, year 3 of Steve Sarkisian and what we could see in the last year of the Big 12?
Texas at 9.5, I would probably either push or take the over. I think this is a 10-win team this year, and I think they'll make an appearance in the Big 12 championship. Anything past that, remains to be seen. Kansas State at 8.5, I would probably take a push of the over. Chris Klieman has slowly built a really solid program up in Manhattan. They've got a lot of guys coming back. I know they're losing Deuce Vaughn and those corners, but they've still got a lot of guys coming back, and Klieman has a tremendous culture there. Oklahoma at 9.5, I would take the under on that, and I would probably put in some savings if I was so inclined and chose to gamble. I don't see Oklahoma making that big of a turnaround. Are they going to be a better team in 2023? No doubt. They not only had a good recruiting class, they brought in some, I feel like, helpful parts from the portal to fill in some holes, similar to what Sark did in his first 2 years in Austin. I kind of see the same template from Venables, but that is not a 9.5 win team yet. No, sir. I feel like that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but then again, I believe they have 6 Big 12 titles in the last 10, 11 years, so I can understand from a betting standpoint them getting the benefit of the doubt. Texas and K-State, push or take the over. Oklahoma, under.
Right now for you, Justin, would Texas K-State be your Big 12 title game?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And they're going to have to run the ball. The last few times those two have faced off, they've had to lean on Bijan Robinson and Rashawn Johnson. I think that's the way to beat Kansas State. Of course, you're going to try to air it out, but they're going to play some flyover defense that's going to really kind of hamper what you can do down the field. That's why running the ball is so important, and that's why I think whenever they do play, if they match up in the Big 12 championship, Texas needs to have that workhorse tailback, 1 or 2 guys, because that's the recipe to beat that Wildcat team.
Yeah. Justin, in terms of Texas basketball, I was listening to a little bit of the sound from Rodney Terry, and I want to get your thoughts on this. He was asked about Holland and Johnson, and was he surprised that they ultimately, backed out of their commitment to Texas and went on? He said he wasn't surprised and kind of went on to what I thought was a good answer, but then I thought, man, there really is no good answer to that. How would you answer that question right now if you're Rodney Terry? Because I can make an argument for both ways. I thought he did a pretty good job, but how would you deal with that?
Well, you have to deal in realities in 2023 in college athletics. And those realities are players will jump ship a moment's notice. Even after they have signed letter of intent, locking them into the school, they're still looking around. You have different avenues for these players now, from the portal to NIL to going and playing a year in pro overseas or even in the G League before you're eligible for the NBA draft. So if I'm Coach Terry, I let fans know this is the new reality. No matter how well you play, no matter, a great Elite Eight run, just barely missing the Final Four, no matter what happens, every next class has to be recruited the same. You have to stay the course, even after they sign, apparently. In the past, they signed, they were locked in for at least a year. Now, they can get out of a signature like it's nothing. And so I think with Rodney Terry, you just have to give fans the reality. Listen, don't just assume kids are locked in because they signed, they committed, the parents are on board, they have a nice NIL deal. Sometimes that doesn't matter, and I'll tell you why. It's called the agent. And ever since they let the agent get involved in high school recruiting, this is only going to be the beginning. This is only going to be just the start of what you can see. Ron Holland is probably going in the top 5 of the 2024 NBA draft. Everyone around him knows that. Does that mean playing someone other than Texas gives him a better shot? I don't think so. But the agent might, or the agent might be trying to get more out of the team, out of the collective, out of the program. That's their job, essentially. So whenever you let agents in the bedroom and in the classroom and in the schoolroom with these high school kids, this is the reality. This is what you should expect. As much as it burns to lose those 2 kids, that's the reality of college basketball in 2023. It looks bad to a person that doesn't really cover the sport. It looks like, man, they lost Arcario Morris, they lost Ron Holland, they lost Adam Johnson. But in reality, there's the portal, there's NIL, and there's agents in high school. And whenever you put all 3 of those together, that's a powder keg of disaster. And that's exactly what happened with those 2 5-star signees.
Yeah, Jay Wells, if your agent's going to Ron Holland saying, hey, if you're about to be the top 5 pick in 2024 draft and you're trying to study, I'm Ron Holland. I'm like, yeah, that don't make much sense if I'm going to be in the league very soon. But yeah, anyways, Jay Wells, Lance Blanks, we know how much that hurt finding out what happened with his daughter dropping that beautiful statement that she said on ESPN. And I know you've been following Texas basketball since you were a little lad, and I know this one hurts for you. What are the best moments that you're going to remember of number 32, from the BMW days to them going deep on that run and Tom Pender's first few years? What are you going to remember most about Lance Blanks?
You said it, BMW. That was, when I was a kid, that was the first time that I really paid attention to Texas basketball. I want to say it was, 1990 or 91 when they made, I believe it was an Elite Eight run. I think they ran into Arkansas at some point. That was the beginning of the Tommy Pender's running horns, when he used to recruit the state of Texas, but then he would go up to New York and on the East Coast. Back then when basketball was slightly a little bit bigger. And then he would go get kids from up there as well. I believe like a Terrence Richer and players of that sort. But, I miss the BMW is what I'm going to miss. But really, I've been fortunate enough to cover a handful of basketball games in my time in Texas. Lance Blanks was one of the most approachable, genuine, happy to be there people. And in this business, it's funny. The older guys you come across, they're usually a little sour or they're a little burned out or nothing really excites them because they've done it for so long and they just sort of go through the motions. With Lance Blanks, every day felt like this was his first day on the job. And that's how he treated it. And that's how he treated other people. I was so fortunate to interact with him on a handful of occasions. And each time he made sure to remember my name. He made sure to remember something I had said. He made sure to have a great smile. And I think the NBA really, really misses him. This is a guy that was a general manager at one point. This was a first-round pick who had a decent, small NBA career. And for him to come back to Austin and to be able to call games and do that, I think you guys know, without saying too much more, just how special he was and how sad this ending was. And it's one of those things that we're not going to forget. It's going to kind of stick with us for a while. And it reminds us to talk to each other, to take care of each other, to ask about each other, to call each other. We're in a world of relationships when we need to all love each other and do our best to respect each other and be nice and be sweet. Lance Blanks epitomized that. And now that he's gone, I think the best way for us to honor that is to do what he did.
That is Justin Wells, Inside Texas on 3.com, on Twitter at Justin Wells 2424. Well said, Justin, as always. We always appreciate the time, brother. Have yourself a good week, and we will talk to you next week.
You know it, guys. Nothing but love.
Thanks, Jay Wells.
There you go. And there was nothing but love coming from Lance Blanks, man. Just loved basketball, loved life, and was such a cool guy to be around. And a lot of great stuff has been said these last few days. Still just one of those stories. Hey, it's one of those you must get reminded every something will happen to me. I'll roll through social media and I'll see like a tribute, like a picture or the article you talked about from his daughter and things like that. I retweeted that yesterday and stuff. It just doesn't seem real. It's going to take about 10 or 20 times that I hear a reference or hear that name and realize that it's a real thing. It's terrible.
Yeah, you just have no idea what people are going through. You really don't.
Yeah.
As you could have the happiest look from the outside and be absolutely hurting in the inside, and that's why you got to treat everybody with respect, treat them with class, be just genuine. And it's absolutely brutal, but we're gonna praise the best moments of Lance throughout the rest of our lives, and that's how we should go about it.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of speaking of basketball, the sport Lance loves so much. Obviously, we talked NBA today. Some NFL stuff is out there. Schedule's going to come out tomorrow. There's a lot of different stories that we'll hit today. Up next, we will get into some football in the flex segment. A couple of O-linemen and the updates on their situation. Plus, we've got the Wednesday night flex show tonight. They've got a guest coming up. Plus, this afternoon, Rod and Harge have a big time guest. We'll tell you about that as well. Stay with us. It's The Horn. This is Chad. Let's talk Apple leasing. Any make, any model, any car, any truck, they make it so simple for you. I'll just be honest with you. I was tired of the dealer crap. That's what I was tired of. Drove me crazy. Hours and hours and hours sitting there going through this, going through that, signing documents and all of this. And it was hot and it's just annoying to me to deal with. That's why I checked into Apple Leasing. I'd heard about it for years. I'd never leased before. I was one of those guys that was you buy it, and then you go to the wheels and everything fall off, but then you realize at the end you're paying for a whole lot of stuff to keep it going. With Apple Leasing, you're paying for the part of the car that you're using. You're always going to feel like you're driving a newer car because guess what? You are. You call 346-9977, just like I did. I ended up talking to Beth. She was incredibly helpful, started telling me about how they do things there and what we could set up. And then she goes out and finds the selections for me. I tell her what I'm interested in. I'm telling her some of the brands I'm looking at. She goes out and finds those and comes back and says, all right, we're looking at this. We're looking at that. Get you this rebate on one. We got this sale on another. Here's what you'd be looking at on a payment. Here's how long the lease would be. Laying it all out for me. And it was so simple. It's easy for you. It can be easy for you as well. They even delivered it right to my driveway. They'll do the same thing for you. Easiest and safest way to get a new car. All those discounts and incentives the dealers get, they get them too at Apple Leasing. Call 346-9977 or check them out at appleleasing.com. All right, rolling through a Wednesday. Zay's got nothing but ACL music for you. They have announced the lineup for October. We've already had Kaliushis. We've already had Alanis Morissette. And this sounds like Dave and the crew from Foo Fighters.
That's right.
They're back.
They're back.
I have not followed it closely enough to know if they have, I'm assuming now they have a regular drummer that they've,
Not the son?
auditioned and whatever. Is it Taylor's son that's in? I don't know.
It was his son at one of their big performances.
I know he's been in there. I don't know if he actually is going to be the drummer moving forward.
Huh.
That was obviously a really sad story, but they there was some kind of really cool emotional stuff coming out of it. That was one of them. Watching his son play those drums in that video was emotional.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. And rest in peace to the great Taylor Hawkins. But Foo Fighters will be part of ACL. Dave and the band keeping Taylor's memory alive and rocking out. I have not seen Foo Fighters live, but I can imagine it's a great, energetic show. In a weird way, they're kind of like, I've heard people describe Dave different ways because I love him to death, and just his love of music and how he thinks about music I think is really important. The fact that there's still cool rock bands out there is really cool. But they've got kind of an AC/DC vibe to me in that a lot of the songs have similar sounds, but there's just something about that energy live. I've talked to people that have been to Foo Fighters shows. They say it's incredible. So shout out to them. They'll be a part of ACL if you want to check it out in October. Coming up in the 2 o'clock hour today, we'll get into, the J.J. Redick update. I thought everybody hated J.J. Redick. Somebody likes him enough to offer him a job?
I guess so.
I didn't know that was real. We got to talk about that. Plus, I do want to throw it out to the people today, Zay. I want to throw it out on the do you care meter. 1 to 10. The Georgia football team's not going to go to the White House. 1 to 10. How much do you care? We'll talk about it later on in the show. I just want to get people's thoughts.
Okay.
337-3776 is the Specs text line. On your do you care meter, how much do you care that Georgia is not going to the White House to see the president and get whatever you get for that? What do you get? You bring a jersey and you do all that stuff, and I guess you get a meal.
Yeah, they get to hold the jersey.
You get a meal, right?
Yeah.
Well, they bring
it might be good meal. It might be fast food.
Yeah. Now they bring the jersey, right? Don't the team?
Yeah.
The team normally brings the jersey.
Yeah, with the president's name on the back.
Throw the president's name on it.
And the year of the title.
Either the year of the title, or you give them a 1, or you give them maybe their number. I've seen them do that. Their number president.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so you give it, like for GW was 43. Right, 41 and 43 were the two Bushes, and then that would have made Obama 44. So then, you just throw that number on if you want. This would be 46 if you want to throw that one. But Georgia's not going to be going, so let us know what you think. All right, let's get into that flex segment. A couple of O-line updates and the Wednesday night flex setup for tonight. Zay, we got a couple of offensive linemen today. I'm interested in kind of where the offers go from here. One of these guys is, I believe he would have been the left tackle for most of the year for Lake Travis, and got kind of a tough name to say, so a lot of people have chosen different ones. I've seen him called Mo. I've seen him referred to as Izomo. I've heard some people just say, no, they call him Big E. Just say Big E, and that's it. That's because the last name, I'm going to try this one, is Aratokai. So it's kind of tough to say.
Yeah, a little difficult.
We talked about him a little bit last year in terms of the All-Flex Watch team and guys to look for. He's class of 24. He is listed on his Twitter at 6'4", 295, and he just got an offer from Sam. Here's the offer list right now. Army, Navy, Tulsa, UTSA, Sam Houston State. Let's just keep an eye on that.
Not too shabby.
Let's just keep an eye on that list. Nothing against those schools. Just interested to see if it might change as things go along. Again, 6'4", 295 O-lineman out of Lake Travis. We'll see if that offer list changes a little bit and maybe grows a little bit as the season goes on. Also, shout out to Joe Sockwell from Westlake announcing that he is going to Texas Tech to play baseball. Congratulations there. And the other offensive lineman that I wanted to mention today, Jacob, I'm assuming it's Ponton, Ponton, who is out of Dripping Springs, class of 24. He has committed to Texas Tech as well. So
nice.
Congratulations to that young man, all-district, an all-district and all-state level offensive tackle there as well, 6'7", 270. And again, he has committed to Texas Tech. At FLXATX on your social media. Again, we love those weightlifting videos, 7-on-7 videos. Let us know all the work that everybody's putting in the offseason. We're rolling up on 7-on-7 time very, very quickly here. So check it out. And then Wednesday Night Flex tonight. Zay, it's a name I think we remember. Braden Buchanan. Going to be a guest with the fellas tonight.
Okay.
Braden Buchanan, baseball commit to Baylor. If y'all don't know that, Braden is not only a pretty badass quarterback, took Vandegrift all the way to that state title game. He is a badass baseball player, and I believe it's catcher.
That's what I was about to ask.
I think that's his specialty.
Tough.
He is. I think he's that guy, and he's one of those guys that I watched him in the early part of the year, and then when I had the opportunity to be on the same level, literally standing on the level he was at one of the flex events, I realized, my God, Buchanan's big.
Oh, he's huge.
That is a big built dude.
Yeah, I saw him lower his shoulder on somebody this season, and it was.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that play.
Yo,
you were pretty close to that dump truck, weren't you?
Very close, man.
You were right
the
down
sound
there.
of that contact. Yeah, the boy, he's serious.
Yeah, he can bring it. So shout out to Braden. Hope everything's going well with him as he gets ready to head off to Baylor. He's going to be hanging out with the fellas. Find out the latest from Braden Buchanan tonight, Wednesday Night Flex at 7. Also, speaking of flexing and lifting and other such things, we have told you about the Big Lift coming up Friday, March 19th. Mark Henry's Big Lift, benefiting the USA Weightlifting Foundation. It is hosted by Mark down there at the Hotel Van Zant, celebrating great athletes of all sports who use weightlifting to ensure their success in their chosen sport. Visit the events calendar at hornfm.com for sponsorships, tickets, and to make your donation. Mark Henry is going to be on with the fellas this afternoon on Ball Don't Lie at 4:30. 4:30, you can hear Mark Henry this afternoon. We're going to try to set Mark up on this show later in the week as well, and maybe next week. Mark has made either the incredible choice or the huge mistake of asking me to be the MC for the event.
What do you mean?
I have no idea what that's going to mean, other than I'm going to challenge Mark and everybody that's there, all the dignitaries, to a weightlifting competition. We're just going to see. We're just going to see. And by that, I mean I'm going to see if they can all bench press me. That's the challenge. Can you bench press me? Just grab a bench. Can you do that?
I mean, if you feel comfortable with grown men fondling you, then sure, go ahead. Yeah.
Trust me, they'll all say no. They will all say no. But they'll all say yes if I say, hey, y'all want to do a weightlifting contest? Yeah, I do, Chad. I want to see if I can lift more weight than you. But there's some big-time names. I think they're going to be a part of that event. I know that Mark's been talking to me about. So we'll get those out to you. And again, go to hornfm.com for that event. And also remember, AEW coming to town next Wednesday night. Dynamite and Rampage live at the Moody Center. Can't wait for that as well. So shout out to Mark. He's got a lot going on. Hopefully you'll hear from him in the next few days on a couple of the shows. And cross your fingers, Eric Rains and the crew are trying to get him down at Coke FM on the mornings with Bob Cole. That's what I want to hear. The Bob Cole Mark Henry Summit on professional wrestling. Because I hear that Bob Cole has used the F word. Not the Bob Huggins F word.
Okay.
And not that other F word. But the F word pro wrestlers do not like to hear. Fake, that word.
Oh.
He's used it, I think, maybe even on the air before.
Ooh,
so there may be a debate to have.
Oh, wrestling is fake. Oh,
There may be a debate
I don't buy it 1 second.
that we get to have. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Keep your fingers crossed for that one. But a lot of cool stuff going on around Mark Henry in the next week or so, and we are glad to be a part of that and one of the sponsors of the event and to help and spread the word there. All right, so Flex segment every day at 1:30 right here on the show on Chad and Zay. Speaking of Zay, up next, it's Where We At in Society. We'll see what Zay wants to get into. At 2 o'clock, we'll get back into some NBA stuff. Could J.J. Redick be headed out of the booth, out of the media world, and back into the basketball world as a coach? We'll get you that. Plus, next hour, do you even care about Georgia not going to the White House? Apparently, that's become a story. We'll get into that a little bit. I will give Kirby Smart credit for one thing of how they handled this. We'll get into that next hour.
To the Specs texter that says, for some reason, Bob Huggins hates catchers, shame on you. He has changed. He is going to sensitivity training. He's met with the people. He has lost money. He is a changed man. Shame on you, Specs texter.
God.
Bob Huggins is a changed man. He is not that same guy that we heard this weekend. He has got the he's going to the sensitivity training. He's got to shrink. He's lost money. He is a new man.
Wow. Unbelievable. Specs text line 337-3776. I do not know what to do with that one, so I am just going to pitch this break and tell you that Where We At in Society is coming up on the Horn. All right. From what I've learned this year, this is a show Megan Thee Stallion may want to check out. If she's not playing ACL, she might be going to that Shania Twain show. Now, this is like a special one. It's only one of the weekends for Shania, right?
Yeah, correct.
Didn't I hear that? Okay.
Yeah.
Got to get the distinctions there. Shania Twain will be a part of ACL. All ACL stuff for you today from Zay. Shania, Foo Fighters, Alanis Morissette, and Kaliushis have all been played. They will all be a part of ACL.
Yeah, Shania probably said, you know what, guys? I got one weekend in me. I'm not missing Texas OU. That ain't happening.
You might be right. You might be right. Although, I don't know how much Shania cares about Texas OU. She's Canadian.
Yeah.
I don't know who her teams are. I'd have to double check that. Like, is she into, I don't know, is she a Raptors fan or, a hockey person? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know who her teams
good
are.
Question.
I've never seen Shania Twain live. You and your wife into Shania Twain. Would you see that show? Maybe.
I don't
know.
I feel like a wild man.
Shania back on tour. That's fantastic. All right. We'll get you more music as we roll on. We'll get you more NBA talk and the two huge series tonight that may both end. Two series could end in 5. We could get our first teams into the conference finals tonight. We'll get Zay's thoughts on those series coming up. Also, we are already getting some thoughts from people on do they care that the Georgia championship football team is not going to the White House. Let us know what you think. Specs text line 337-3776. Right now, though, it's where are we at in society. Let's see what Zay wants to get into. All right, Zay, do I need to go to Twitter today or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm slipping. I didn't send it to you in time. I am sending the topic today.
Okay.
Right now.
All right.
All right. So, we talked about Jordan Poole yesterday and him spending that $500,000 on the Ice Spice date. Ice Spice being the next up-and-coming woman rapper, Jordan Poole being the struggling NBA basketball player that could be out the playoffs tonight if his team loses to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to find balance. There's going way too hard and spending way too much money as an NBA or a professional athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Jared Vanderbilt, who is being called out for returning his clothes that he wore to the game at wherever place he bought it from the next day. An NBA player wearing clothes in the tunnel, which we know the NBA tunnel is basically a fashion show. The fool returned those same clothes the next day because somebody outed them on Instagram. Somebody said that, I guess, he bought the clothes from.
Who the heck is following that?
Oh, easy.
Who is
a lot of
keeping
people
track of these things?
When you see a guy walk in, especially in LA, he's like 6'8",
right,
and he's purchasing all this clothes with all this money.
All
you
right.
ask, who are you? Oh, I'm Jared Vanderbilt. Okay, cool. I see. So the person that outed him goes and says, nice try, bought $2,000 worth of clothes Monday. This outfit specially wore it to the tunnel and then posted it Tuesday, then returned it Wednesday. I wasn't at the store and someone took the return. Lord knows why. Obviously clothing. Man, if I didn't have a reason to hate the Lakers and root for the home turf, now I have a reason. Boo.
All right, I'll ask the cheap question. Do they have a return policy?
I mean, they took it back. $200K. I don't know if you can return stuff when you purchase $200K. That's a lot of coin.
$2K, not $2K.
Excuse me. I'm thinking.
Still,
I'm thinking about Jordan Poole.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so $2,000 worth of clothes. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a lot. That is a lot to spend. But if you have a return policy, you have a return policy. Maybe he saw his picture. He didn't quite think it made the statement he wanted to make. You need to return them. They might have told him as he walked out, hey, if you don't love it, remember, you can return that.
Well, I'm looking at the fit. This shouldn't be $2,000 worth. Like, this shouldn't be $2,000. It's just a button-up shirt that he's wearing open with a very tacky-ass wife beater underneath. He's wearing these bluish, teal, baby blue pants that, I don't know, ain't no way that could be over $1,000. So I'm trying to see where the 2K is coming from.
Yeah, as much as for everybody that wants to get mad at his part of it, I'm offended by that number. I'm offended that outfit cost $2,000.
Yeah, that's an issue.
So if y'all want to get mad at something, how about you get mad at that? I say bravo, Mr. Vanderbilt. Bravo.
You're really showing your cheapness here.
I am. Do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. I don't know his reasoning for returning it, but if you have a policy, just recently, I went and returned a CD to Walmart. Why? Because they have a policy. I took the receipt. I said I'd like to make a return. Woman didn't even ask me questions as to why. Okay, the money will be put on your card. Have a nice day. That's it. We're done.
You're talking to a guy. If I was in the league, I would come up wearing the same Crocs that I'm wearing right now. I'd be so cheap in the league. Like Tim Duncan will look at me and be like, damn, dog, you really outdid yourself. I'd be so cheap because the money coming in, I'm going to save it. I don't need to buy 2K. We have 82 games. I'm not going to look fly for 82 games. I'm going to wear the same fits, hoodies, the same damn day. Did you wear that jacket 3 nights in a row? Yes. And
if I was in the NBA, they would come on, they would break it down, and they would say, okay, tonight is the 100th time that Chad has worn the Mountain Dew T-shirt. So far, the team is slightly better than 500 when he wears it. They'd keep up with the stats. That's how much I'd wear stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
come on, man.
Yeah, somebody asked, did he keep the tags on? It doesn't. Maybe he did. Maybe he did, but no, man, I'm the opposite of you, Chad. You're in the NBA. Shame on you, Jared Vanderbilt. You can't be this cheap. And you're from Houston. You're from the H. Like, come on, bro. You don't have to spend this bread. You don't have to.
What I would do if I was that big time, what I might try to do is if I thought I didn't want to keep wearing stuff, I want to keep it fresh or whatever. I get that, but figure out a way to help out others and there's not many probably, but there's other, I guess, you say 6'8", 6'9"?
Yeah.
There's probably other 6'8" people somewhere that might benefit from that clothing. That's what some of the NBA guys should do. Figure out a way to use social media, use the technology out there, and when you're done with your clothes, then auction them off. Raise some money, get yourself some money, but also you can raise some money for good causes and stuff. Like, hey, here's my outfit. I'm 6'8". It's kind of unique. So let me send it out to the world and say, hey, let's help this children's charity that I like. And, whatever. 50% of it will go to a children's charity. Anybody want my outfit?
Right.
That's the kind of stuff I would do.
Yeah. See, somebody trying to clown me like, damn, you a grown-ass man that wears Crocs. I'm comfortable. I'm sitting in the chair talking to you idiots. I am going to be comfortable. I don't need to be rocking my Air Forces and my fly shoes. For what? Nobody going to see it. I'm already married. Who do I have to impress? Nobody. I'm good. So I'm going to be comfortable. There's a time and a place where I need to look fly, and I'll do that. Mother's Day's coming up this weekend. I will not be wearing these Crocs around my mother. I will not. She deserves more than that. I will wear nice button-down shirt, looking smooth, some forces, looking clean. It's the difference between me being right here in the chair and then going out. Now, if I was in the league, I'd still be cheap. I'd still be wearing Crocs. I'd be wearing, like, damn, maybe they'd figure out, damn, they got on, what is this, Ross? Oh, Navy? I don't care. I am saving my money. I am not going to be like Vince Young. I am not going to be like Allen Iverson. I love Vince Young. Y'all know I do. We all do. But he is an example of what not to do as a professional athlete. So, look, Vanderbilt, in a way, he is smart because he is saving money. He's returning. But, damn, there's a way to go.
If he's going to do it that way, he needs to be more like what you're talking about on the front end. Just go to a department store then. If you're going to do, if your policy is going to be wear it once, return it, don't go this high level. Go to a lower level there.
And get caught.
Or go cheaper. Just get cheaper stuff.
Like have somebody, I know you got a camp, have somebody return it for you.
No, you could do that. They'd still find out probably.
Yeah.
No, it's not bad.
It's a bad look.
Yeah, that is rough. Good evening. Welcome back to the Red Carpet. Isaiah Collier is now entering the NBA award show. Zay, who are you wearing?
A tuxedo shirt that I got from the outlet mall. It is very comfortable, size XXL. Yes.
It is lovely. It's lovely. And matching Crocs. How long have we had those?
Probably about 3 years now. They're worn, but they're comfortable.
Oh, that's all that matters. That is all that matters. You know they have some kind of, don't they have little like jewels and weird stuff you can stick into the holes of the Crocs?
Oh, yeah.
For decoration?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can ice them up real nice.
Because if you go with like, I'm sure they have real diamond versions of that. So really, you can make your Crocs pretty expensive if you want to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, if you saw me at the Mullet Open, I had my Air Maxes on, it was clean. My fresh Adidas shirt was clean. No neck roll. Very out of my comfort zone on radio.
Do you think right now Russell Westbrook has every outfit we've seen him in?
No.
I don't either. I mean, some of that stuff should just be burned afterwards.
Yeah.
Because some of it I still think he did on purpose, just to taunt us.
Yeah, some I think he was late and then just had to grab whatever he could and just walked out the door.
Probably.
And somehow it worked for him.
If I was Russ, once I got it started, I would have just literally had like in my closet or have somebody pick it out for me. Just make it random every day, every game. Just, okay, randomize the shirt, we're going with that one. Randomize the pants, we're going with that one. Give me some shoes, good, I'm going to work.
Well, at this point, once you get to the league, it's kind of like the richer you are, the more free stuff you get. So a lot of these guys have brands that, they're out promoting and stuff. So a lot of the stuff they get free anyway. And you need, like Kevin Durant, I remember for years, he would just rock a Nike sweatsuit fleece in just different colors. He doesn't do that anymore, but there was one point in time Kevin Durant was rocking the same Nike jumpsuit every game. Just was cool with it.
Just different colors?
Just different colors.
Rotate?
Yeah, he's a Nike guy, so it's free. He just got that huge Nike contract for the rest of his life, so it's super free.
Yeah. Did you see the LeBron the other day just walking in that green golf shirt? It looked like something I'd buy if I could afford it. I'm sure that golf shirt costs like $500 or something. But it just looked like some style of shirt that I might wear when I'm trying to dress up. And he just wore it because he knew it was so casual. I was like, there you go, LeBron. Well done.
Yeah, yeah. And he's known as one of the cheapest guys ever. You hear people talk about LeBron James, that train wreck stuff, that is not a fluke. That dude is cheap.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've heard it from Dwayne Wade. I've heard it from multiple people. He's one of the cheapest individuals you ever met, and the dude's a billionaire.
Nice.
It's nuts.
There you go. Sometimes that's how it happens. All right, there's where we at in society. We do it every day about 1:45. Just let people return their clothes. Why are we telling tales on people? Well, so we can have a radio segment, I guess. 2 o'clock hour coming up. The JJ Redick update. Also, we're getting listener feedback from the Specs text line. 337-3776. How much do you care, 1 to 10, on the fact that Georgia is not going to the White House with the football team? We'll get into that next hour as well. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. This is The Horn. All right, let's go hour number 3 on a Wednesday. Chad and Zay with you. Hope you're having a good one. Hope you're avoiding the rain in the area, although the sun's shining where we are right now. Hopefully it's doing what it needs to where you are. You're not getting too much of that rain. I'm Chad Hastings. He is Isaiah Collier. Every day for the third hour, he picks out a beat for us. Now, is this an ACL-related beat as well?
Correct.
All right. So, I'm trying to think. I haven't even taken a good long look at the ACL list, so I have no guess here.
Yeah, not many hip-hop artists, so if you just break it down, you could probably figure it out if you were looking at the list. This is Glorilla.
Okay.
Glorilla.
Newer artist, older artist?
Yeah, newer artists. Her and Ice Spice are the big new women rappers right now.
I was going to say, is that Glow reference to like maybe a Gloria thing and it's a female, or
Yes.
is this, okay.
Yeah.
Or is it like Glorilla, like we're going to have a party and everything's going to be glowing and let's go? This is a female.
Female.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's tough.
Is she hot?
If you like that kind of thing.
What kind of
Not
thing?
my taste.
Okay. Not your kind
Not
of.
my kind.
Maybe somebody else is kind of
Yeah, of
attractive, but not
course.
yours.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, fair enough. I've not seen Glorilla.
Yeah, she from Memphis.
Yeah. Okay. Let me do. I'll do a search. I'll give you an on-air reaction. Ready? Of Glorilla. Okay. All right.
Yeah. She a little thin for my taste. That's all. Nothing wrong with
Little
that.
thin?
A little thin, That's cool though.
That's
She
some
be-
serious eyelashes going on.
Yeah.
A lot of eyelash work.
Yeah,
happening.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. I like the sleeve though. I like that tat sleeve. Not afraid of the tat chair.
No.
Not afraid of the ink. Miss Glorilla. I also now, while I can't stand the musicians that won't just give me their song titles clearly, I do like when they mess with their own names. So the fact that she capitalizes the R in the middle of Glorilla, that's fine. That's cool. I like that.
Right.
Now, don't make your whole damn name capital unless it's an acronym. We don't need to go crazy. I don't need you to be telling me, Bob Schneider. He shouldn't do that. Don't be yelling at me. We don't need that. All right, so Glorilla with the beat, part of ACL, and we're doing all ACL artists today. We're getting a lot of good text in on the Specs text line, 337-3776. Someone texted, who cares? I would not walk across the street to meet Biden. All right, fair enough.
Right,
Somebody else says, I care a little bit less than they do. Someone else says, Georgia doesn't need to focus on that. They need to worry about winning another title. And I think it was our man Chris Bennett that told us, it's a little hard to believe, that the last college football championship team to go to the White House was Burrow and LSU. So, I mean, not that there's been a ton since then, but
You sure? I remember Trevor Lawrence being there grabbing a Big Mac.
that would have been before that, though, right? Trevor Lawrence would have won.
I want to say Burrow.
Burrow was 19 or 20. 19. He was 19.
Okay.
Bama's COVID was 20. And who would 21 have been?
Because Burrow's like in year 4 now. Trevor Lawrence is coming in year 3. Both of them number 1 picks. So that's how I'm looking at it.
Okay.
So both of them number 1 picks. Burrow.
No, maybe that was. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Burrow
So,
went before.
so he was 21. Yeah, Burrow's 19. You're right then. So Lawrence would have been 21. And then, why am I not remembering last year? 20, that's the 21 season. Georgia, thank you. Well, no. Georgia's back to back. Georgia went 21 and 22. Bama was 20.
So did Lawrence win?
Did Lawrence win it first? Did Lawrence go?
Maybe he stayed. Maybe he won it.
Because now you're going to make.
Stayed. See, now I'm
Now I'm going to have to look this up.
But I do remember Lawrence grabbing Big Macs, though. I do. And CB's probably right. CB's usually not wrong.
Yeah, no, I think Georgia. Yeah. Clemson was 18.
Okay.
So it was him and then Burrow.
Wow.
So the last 3, Bama, Georgia, they're saying nobody has gone to the White House since LSU. So we'll get a little more into that story. I guess it's getting a little bit of love. I'm just wondering how interested people are in that story.
I don't care.
I have never been that interested in that story either way throughout my life. It didn't really used to matter, and now somehow it matters. But we'll get into that with why today matters. But also got a couple different things to get into. There's an interesting NFL story that Zay found. Plus, Zay, I want to get your thoughts on one of the most hated guys in our lives in basketball, maybe getting at least the thought for a job. So Toronto is moving on from Nick Nurse, the man who helped them win a title. I know Kawhi Leonard was kind of a part of it too. But a couple years after that, they get rid of him. They're trying to figure out what to do. There was talk of Udoka before he went to Houston. There was at least kind of talk, maybe they'd be interested. But now they have legitimately interviewed J.J. Redick?
Yeah, he's already interviewed. And, you talk about him being one of the most hated of all time. Well, he's not that anymore. He's one of the brightest basketball minds that you see on TV. He goes at Stephen A. and Mad Dog like it ain't nothing. And, his podcast is terrific too. Like Old Man and the Three. That's amazing. So I get the interest, but he has no coaching experience. You're throwing a guy into the fire if he were to get the job. And J.J. Redick, being as smart as he is, being a Duke guy, him playing in the game, him not being too far from being retired, so he's going to be able to relate to the players. But we're seeing with Joe Mazzulla and him struggling with his first job, like, you're going to get exposed eventually. And a lot of the time, it depends on the team you have. Obviously, you got to have guys to even get to the playoffs. But once you get in, you could get exposed. So looking at Toronto and their situation, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, they still got some good guys that were there, a part of that championship team when Kawhi Leonard was there, but it's just about who are they going to get. They still need that one player. They might not get a guy like Kawhi, but they still need that one player. And if J.J. Redick was offered the job, would it be worth it? Would it be worth, leaving the camera and doing a great job there? You're already a millionaire from your playing days. So you're not thinking about money. You're thinking about love for the game. And is this something that you really want to do? He comes from a Coach K background. He played with a whole bunch of other guys that were decent coaches.
But he hasn't been a coach yet.
No,
right?
He hasn't. That's the thing. He has no experience, so that's weird, but he's still one of the smartest basketball minds out there. You can't deny that.
Yeah, no, he is that. So tell me if I'm wrong here. When I think of guys that have played and now are coaches, like the modern group, the Jacques Vaughns, the Ty Lues, obviously, Doc Rivers and others, those guys were assistants before they were head coaches.
Yes.
Correct? Mm-hmm. They all worked their way through as assistants, where even if you didn't know it, you'd go, oh, you didn't know he's been an assistant? Heck, even Patrick Ewing, which some people were not upset, but like were questioning, is this really going to work if he goes to Georgia? And we saw what happened, but he had been an assistant before.
Yeah, you see Sam Cassell on the bench with Doc, with the Sixers. Sam Cassell's been in the league ever since he retired. He's been an assistant coach, just bouncing around from team to team. He's not getting any looks. They didn't call him. Now, they might be respecting the Philadelphia 76ers and saying, we'll wait, but they're already going after somebody with no experience, whether he's a good basketball mind or not. You still got to be in the trenches and understand when to call timeouts, when to make adjustments, when to take guys out the game. Do I chew guys out? Am I a yeller? Am I one of those, am I a coddler? You got to figure out your own philosophy. And yeah, it is a weird story, but I don't know. And anybody could get a job nowadays if you have just some experience in certain guys' minds. Look what Indianapolis did by bringing in Jeff Saturday. Sometimes guys just think, owners just think, it doesn't matter if you coached or not. I know this guy. I know he's a bright football or basketball mind. I want him coaching my team.
Was Jason Kidd an assistant before? He was, wasn't he?
Before he got the Bucks job?
Yeah.
Or the Nets job? I don't think so. I really don't.
So maybe that's an example. I'm just trying to think of an example of somebody that would have gotten right from I was a player to that. And Kidd didn't even have any time, obviously, as a broadcaster. But
I really don't. I really think Jay Kidd retired with the Knicks and then got the job with the Nets.
And then transitioned.
Yeah.
Okay. J.J. Redick did get an interview with Toronto. Keep an eye on that story. We'll see where that goes. All right. We mentioned NFL schedule will be released tomorrow, full schedule. They're so brilliant at the NFL. They'll release little bits of things and get us interested in talking about it. We mentioned those international games coming up. You've got Atlanta, Jacksonville, Buffalo, and Baltimore, Tennessee are going to be in London, Miami, Kansas City, and Indy, New England, and Germany. And then the Black Friday game. That's right, Longhorn fans. Not just you get to play football on Black Friday, but the Dolphins and the Jets are going to play on Black Friday. Full schedule tomorrow. We'll talk about that probably Friday for us when everything will be available to us, but we'll probably get a couple more little nuggets of games coming out tomorrow that we'll talk about. But Zay found a really cool story here. Zay, every year, some people get into the NFL Network Top 100 Players. I love that show.
That's my favorite, one of my favorite things the NFL does.
If y'all don't know how this works, they have every player go through and they just give them a list. And the list for each of them, they don't make them all go to 100, do they?
I think so.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah.
So they make them do their list of who do you think is the best player, and you write it down, and then they give you the big countdown, and you get to hear all of these guys talk about each other. It's a fantastic deal. They'll roll it, 10 or 20 at a time, whatever. So we've gotten a little sneak preview of what's coming.
Yeah, we do. 4 anonymous lists that the NFL put out via Instagram. And it's very interesting. Some guys I can agree with. Some guys I'm like, you might be a homer. This might be a guy you play with in college. This might be a guy that's currently you're a teammate with. Very interesting, but everybody has their own opinion.
Okay, so you tell me if it's easy for you to read it this way. Can you give us like everybody's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
Can we do it that way?
Yeah, let's start with this list.
All right.
First list at 5.
Give me some 5s.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill, okay.
Another 5. Matt Judon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
All the way up at 5? Tyreek, I kind of get. I'm not sure about Judon.
I don't see it at all.
Okay.
No, another 5, Josh Allen.
Okay. All right.
The last 5 out on this list, Tyreek Hill again.
Tyreek Hill again. Okay.
Yeah.
That feels about right for Tyreek Hill. Top. Okay. I would assume the rest of his guys think he's top 10 for sure.
Yeah. He's usually top 15, top 20. He's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He went 18,000 yards this season. Like, he led the league in yards per catch and yards after catch and stuff. So I could see it. Now let's go with the 4s.
Okay.
Gosh. Fred Warner.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, you know what? Some people are fans.
That's what I mean. Like, some of this just
By the way,
just homerism.
No.
Come on.
That dude has to face Fred Warner a lot.
Okay.
That's probably in his division, and he has to face him because Fred Warner is linebacker, right?
Yeah, 49ers.
Yeah, so that is
You could argue him being the top linebacker in the league.
That's an O lineman or tight end in their division.
Right.
That's just saying, the fourth best player in the league is, don't you? It's the guy I have to deal with.
Yeah, that dude's lost his mind. I don't care how good he thinks Fred Warner is.
That's great.
Another 4, Jamar Chase.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
I would assume that level of receiver gets a lot of praise.
Another 4, Stephon Diggs.
Yep, there it is.
Another 4, Josh Allen.
Okay. Hey, Josh Allen getting the top 5.
I mean,
would you put
he's
Josh
good.
Allen that high?
No.
I wouldn't either.
Not after this season.
Yeah, I'm not going
Not
that
this
high.
season. Now, a lot of guys think of just this year, and a lot of guys take the whole career and they put it in their list.
That's
so
why-
who knows what these guys, how these guys are ranking them,
Now, by the way, because I think Brady's had this thing like 7 or 8 times. Are they finally done picking Brady?
I mean,
Are
he's
they
out the league.
Right. Can they not pick him this year? Did they make sure to tell them they're not allowed to vote for him?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they let him know.
Good grief.
I know.
I couldn't believe he ended up on top of that list again last year. I'm like, wait a minute. Brady again? I get the respect, but really?
That's all that was, just straight respect.
All right. Okay.
All right, on to the 3s.
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Justin Jefferson.
Okay. Go ahead, Justin.
Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He won it one year, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, he won it one
He was
year.
number one
Mhm.
at least one year. Yeah.
Nick Bosa.
Okay. Yeah. I could see him up in that category.
And number 2's Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes.
Uh-huh.
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons.
Oh, look at Micah. Micah's somebody's 2?
Micah somebody's 2.
Again, I'll go back to my theory. That's an offensive player in the NFC East. That's who that is. Going, oh, my
Well,
God.
the same person that has Micah Parsons number 2
Yeah.
has Jason freaking Kelsey at number 8.
Yeah, that's a grunt worker right there. That's an O lineman. If they're O or D lineman, easy.
They think Jason Kelsey is better than Travis Kelsey. They got Travis Kelsey at 10, Jason Kelsey at 8. What are we doing?
That's what I'm talking about. You tell him that's definitely an O lineman.
Yeah.
If he thinks Parsons is that good and Jason Kelsey's above Travis Kelsey, definitely an O lineman. No doubt in my mind that's an O lineman.
I don't think anyone has ever said, those Kelsey brothers, boy, that center, way better than the tight end. Not even close.
Travis is lucky to be grabbing those coattails. living out in Jason's shadow. That's what his thing is. Will you get out of here, O-lineman?
I heard Shannon Sharp the other day say, this is Shannon Sharp, 3 rings, 2 with the Broncos, 1 with Baltimore,
Yep.
one of the best tight ends of all time. He went on the Kelsey podcast, and he said to Jason, yo, this dude right here, your brother, is the greatest tight end of all time. Just said it. Just said it. We know how prideful Shannon Sharp is. We see him with Skip. This is Shannon Sharp. He don't talk like this about anybody. You better show him something if he's willing to put you on in the same category as him and above that. He flat out said it. And we got somebody on here saying Jason Kelsey's better than Travis. You got to be kidding
To
me.
be fair, you might, if you'd have let Sharp finish, he might have said, oh, and by the way, your brother's even better than you. He might have said it. You don't know.
I hope he did. I hope Unc didn't.
I hope he did not. All right, so then who are the ones?
We got to get through the other 2s.
Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't get all the 2s.
Or did we?
I thought we did.
I thought we did. You're right. We did. All right.
We finished. Okay.
Yeah, we finished. Okay. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Jefferson.
Oh, Justin Jefferson at 1. That's a little saucy to me, but good for him. Good for him from that one person. That's a big fan. You know who that is? That's a defensive back in his division. That's exactly who that is.
Yeah, defensive back that's clearly been toasted for the last 3 years.
That is a DB for the Packers, Lions, or Bears going, I'm going to tell you who the best player in this league is.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson's good, but best player in the National Football League good? Wow. All right. The other 2 number 1s, Travis Kelce.
Yeah, okay.
And then Josh Allen.
So Travis Kelce was 2 of these 4 as the best player?
No,
You said 2 of these 4 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Pick Travis Kelce number 1. I'm just
No, just one did.
One, okay.
One did.
So Kelce, Jefferson,
Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen.
Mahomes, and Josh Allen. Okay, that is wild to me. The idea that you could have a list from an NFL player of the best players in the league. They could put a tight end number 1, and a whole lot of people won't laugh. That's crazy.
I know. I wouldn't do it. Like, he's always
I wouldn't
top
put
10 guy.
You know, I wouldn't put him all the way up there, but you know how much I love the tight end position.
Yeah,
I love the respect they're getting. I don't know if they need that much.
like, would Travis Kelce be this good if they never drafted Patrick Mahomes and it was Alex Smith the whole way through?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
So
He'd be damn good, though.
they'd be very good.
Be damn good.
They'd be very good.
Yeah.
But it's just, let's give Patrick Mahomes more credit. And a lot of guys did. Let me see what the same person that put Travis Kelce at number 1, let's see whether they put Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
They had Patrick Mahomes number 2.
I would assume
So,
he's close. Yeah. Right.
I-
If you think Chelsea's 1, you don't think Mahomes is like 20. There's no way.
yeah. So,
No way you can do it.
like you said, it's like division guys talking about other division guys.
So do you think that ultimately every year on this list that number 1, like were you okay with number 1 being Aaron Donald, or do you think number 1 needs to be a quarterback every year?
I was okay with it being Aaron Donald that year he got it.
Okay.
Yeah. The way he was mucking up the league, mucking up offensive coordinators' whole, system and schemes and quarterbacks and stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody said the person that put Jason Kelce above Travis Kelce was Jason Kelce. You were reading Jason Kelce's list, and that fits everything. Jason Kelce is in Micah Parsons' division, put himself above his brother. I bet you that was him.
Can you vote for yourself?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I have no idea. That may be the only. I'm trying to think of what qualifications they give the guys. I think that might be one of them. I think they say you're not allowed to vote for you anywhere.
Now, one of the coolest things they do is when the producers are asking guys that are usually in the top 10 that are a part of it, they're like, where do you think you should be ranked? And guys go, probably top 5, number 1. Dude, they like, where am I ranked? I'm like 8. And they're like, I don't know.
That's good. It is.
These dudes are so competitive. I love
It's
it.
a great show. Man, it's a great show. It's a perfect primer for an NFL season to get you excited, to remind you. And then I like watching the back end of it too, and the 100
I love that.
to 50,
Yeah,
60.
yeah.
Because then you get to hear guys breaking down like these D tackles you forget about, offensive linemen, receivers that are up and coming, younger quarterbacks that are on the way. They lay stats out for you, and you go, oh, damn, that is impressive.
Kyle Juszczyk is always like 98,
Yes.
99, 96.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, yep, makes sense. This dude, he's for real, even though nobody talks about him on that very hefty San Francisco 49ers squad that has Kittle and Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. Kyle Juszczyk, as a fullback, pretty damn good.
Yeah, you hear guys like over the years, breaking down Fletcher Cox and people like Jeffrey Simmons. I wonder how high Simmons ends up this year. He's been on a big-time run. He just got all that money. He's like the second or third highest paid D-tackle now. It's like Aaron Donald. I think there's somebody in the middle and him. I think he's third all-time now.
Right.
So I wonder where that respect level has gone because to me, he just keeps getting better and better and better. I wonder how high he'll be. That's always interesting to me. Like Donald it all came together for him. But then where does a guy like Simmons end up? I love that show.
MLB, NBA, take notes.
That is so cool, man. And it's great that they actually gave this little teaser.
Yeah.
A lot of folks will do that. Like when we'll get an anonymous thing on, they'll put an article out where it's like, anonymously we asked all the coaches who the best quarterback in their league is, and here's what they said. I love that stuff. I love hearing it because they know they can be honest if they know it's anonymous. And in this case, the guys giving us a little sneak preview at the NFL. Tomorrow, full NFL schedule day. We'll be talking about that. Up next, it's Why Today Matters on this May the 10th. One of the sportscasters I grew up with, the legend, has a birthday today. We'll hit that. Plus, your level of care on this Georgia White House story. Zay and I will talk about it. Georgia has apparently decided not to go to the White House. We will tell you if we care. Plus, I'll tell you the one thing Kirby Smart did here that I do admire next on The Horn. All right, rolling through a Wednesday. Zay's got nothing but ACL artists for you today. Should I know this?
Yeah.
The Kendrick?
Yep, there we go.
Okay.
There we go.
That's the first thing. It's what it sounded like at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, this is off one of his first mixtapes
Really?
albums, the
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar EP.
I need to check out more Kendrick. I've heard Good Kid, Mad City. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
It's a great album. I have not listened to another full album besides that one, but that talented dude. And he is from Compton, correct?
Compton, California.
Compton, Cali. Kendrick, Shania, Foo Fighters, Alanis Morissette, and Caliuchis. Now that's a music festival they should put together, and they have. They're all coming for ACL, ladies and gentlemen. Plus, Zay got you the Glorilla beat from earlier in the hour. Glorilla also going to be a part of ACL. All right.
Gosh, Kendrick's good. Wow.
Oh, he's incredible. He is incredible.
I haven't heard this song in a long time, man. That is some heat.
You know what else? The other thing I love about Kendrick Lamar is he has found, it's some of the things I've seen. I've never seen him live at a full show. What I've seen on award shows, what I've seen at different single performances, he can find a way to present that music in a really visually interesting way.
Yes.
And that's so hard to do with hip hop. It is hard to make hip hop visually interesting sometimes, and he figures out a way to do it. Every time there's a performance at an award show and it's Kendrick, you can feel the room get ready. Like, what the Kendrick? When? I can't be at the bathroom. Let me know when Kendrick's here. And then you see the performance, you realize why.
And it's always deep. It
Yeah.
always connects to the song, whatever he's performing, which we know his songs could get really deep. And he talks about real life stuff.
He does.
And he'll put that in his performances. Like you said, yeah, he's incredible. I'm not surprised why a lot of people have him on Mount Rushmore, including myself.
Man, big time guy. Kendrick will be a part of ACL this year. All right, let's get you why today matters. It is May 10th. We got a couple birthdays to mention, and we'll talk about this White House story too. All right, it is May the 10th, and the story got out. I say got out. It's not like it's a big secret, but apparently it's been announced that coming up June 12th, the White House invited a whole bunch of championship teams, but Georgia's football team is not going to be one of them. Our man Chris Bennett is letting us know nobody's gone to the White House since LSU's championship team with Burrow. So one of our texters did text in, did Jill Biden invite TCU? That's well played. Well played. Yeah, I don't believe Jill Biden did that. I don't think she made that same mistake like she did with women's hoops. But this is it's a wild story, Zay. It's another thing where everything has now become just weird, mean, vicious, and it's all about sides, and it's all about kind of which side of things you're on. I don't ever remember as a kid thinking, oh, the championship team went to the White House. They must agree with the politics of the president. I never thought of that. And also, I never thought of it, like somebody said earlier, I wouldn't walk across the street to meet Biden. Like, I didn't ask that. Just like I wouldn't have asked somebody, should this team go see President Trump or President Obama? To me, it's going to the White House.
Right.
You are making a trip to the White House. The current president will welcome you.
And think about the history
Right,
of the White House.
Right. And then you're there, right. You're there where so many other incredibly, famous and important things have happened and all that. And to me, it's just about, you're showing respect for that, for the office, which people used to, not so much anymore. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how far back you want to go to when that really changed, but certainly the last couple presidents, maybe it's the last 4 presidents, go back wherever you want. But there's just a lot of weird hatred around it right now. Now, it is ultimately a silly thing. I mean, you can not go or go. You have a right to do all that. I just never remember, I don't remember the first people to make this kind of a decision and us hearing about it. I remember Brady not showing up for one.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who the president was. It was either GW or Obama. I don't remember which of the two. I think it might have been Obama.
I don't remember LeBron and them going to the White House during the bubble or after the bubble at all.
Yeah, right. And then remember the Warriors teams, like one of the Warriors teams I think declared that they wouldn't go if they were invited. And then the White House responded with, well, good, because we ain't inviting you.
that was Donnie.
And it's like, wait, what? What are we doing now? So now we've lost so much respect both ways
Donnie.
that you won't respect the place enough to go, oh, yeah, we'll go to the White House and hang out. And sometimes the White House would lose the respect the other way, and now you're not even inviting the team. So anyway, and in the most recent weird example, the First Lady even tried to invite the loser of a championship game, and they had to be kind of talked down from that. So I'm kind of glad we have not I'm kind of glad that we've not really gotten much reaction today in terms of people really getting fired up about it. Seems like people are not that interested in the story, which to me is kind of good because it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of a strange little story. The thing I do like about what Georgia did is the excuse they used. Well done, Georgia. Scheduling conflict. Everyone listening right now has used that. It's well played.
I don't even know what that means. We can't make time.
Can't make time.
The president?
No, can't make time.
Right.
Hey, you haven't.
Okay.
You haven't seen my schedule. You don't know how busy it is. Zay, we've all been there. It could be your brother. It could be an aunt or uncle. It could be somebody that wants to date you. It could be that friend that's annoying and keeps saying, man, you want to come over and watch Monday Night Football? You want to come over and watch Monday Night Football? Man, I can't do it. I got a lot of things going on. Now, be sure not to put something on social media later to let them know where you were.
Be careful.
But we've all been there. We've all been to schedule. Oh, man. Especially those people listening right now. You know it's true. If you've got like 2 to 5 children, man, you got built-in excuses ready to roll. Oh, man, we got stuff. I got soccer. I got volleyball. We got football, workouts. Woo, graduation. They all graduate same night. I didn't tell you that. That is basically what Georgia is doing. So they don't want to come out and say whatever the reasoning might be. We don't want to mess with it. We don't want it to get political. We don't want to offend. We don't want to whatever. So we're going to leave it alone and say we got a scheduling conflict.
Yeah, we're so sensitive nowadays. I don't really care what they do. If they want to go, cool. If they don't want to go, cool. Like, it really doesn't matter for me. If I was a player that won a championship and I was asked to go, I'd show up just because the history. Like, I've never been to D.C.,
right?
Yet alone the White House, so I'm going to take it all in, no matter who's in office at the time, whether it's Joe, Donnie. Hell, during the 90s, if Bill Clinton was there, I'd be like, hey, Bill, where'd you do what you did? Yo, well, I just want to know. I'm just curious. You brought me here. I just want to know history. This is history. Where'd you go? Oh, the back room back there? Okay, cool.
Hey, Bill, is that, is that, I know that's the Lincoln bedroom. Is that the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, Bill, you couldn't, like, pay for the dry cleaning?
Oh,
you know, like the stains and all, you couldn't just pay for the dry cleaning? That probably would have helped you out a little bit. I don't know.
And maybe athletes and coaches for years have been making these political type statements, and I just never realized it. Like, did they really feel like, I'm not going to go? I'm going to make a statement to not go. You can do whatever you want, I guess.
Yeah, because it was just a certain respect. Like, oh, it's the president. No matter what your views are, you're going to respect him, and you need to be there. That's just what it used to be.
Right. It used to be that. Right. Sort of a respect for the office and the White House and the idea of it. And we used to have the thing of, I remember the old school, first time I ever heard after a Super Bowl, they put the coach on the phone with the president of the United States. And it was wild. Like, we could hear both voices.
Who was it?
Reagan.
Oh, okay.
So, because, the first Super Bowl I remember was Super Bowl 15, which is Raiders over Eagles, and that's like, what is that, early 80s, right? 80, 81, 82, somewhere in there. So Reagan would have just taken office. And I remember hearing, like, they win, and that's what, Tom Flores, the coach of the Raiders at that time, I believe that's right. And he's on the phone, and I can remember hearing Reagan's voice, well, Nancy and I wanted to say congratulations, and you guys played great. And then we'd love to have you at the White House. And so, oh, Mr. President, it'd be an honor. I'll tell the guys. I remember thinking as a kid, well, that's cool. The president called the guy that won the Super Bowl. Yeah, we don't think like that anymore.
Yeah. And if you look at the state of Georgia, they weren't really going for Biden when the votes came in. He didn't win that state. So, but you look at it that way, I don't know where we are now, whatever.
But wait, he did, didn't he?
He won Georgia?
Didn't he win? Wasn't that one of the big contested states and they did the recount thing or whatever? That was one of the states, wasn't it?
Oh, then shoot. And it's really odd.
That's one reason why maybe the Georgia football team, not the team, but the powers that be decided, because it was, I believe I'm right on that, but it was, depending on who you ask, and we won't get into that full debate today, but it was, let's just say it was tight. Let's say it was close. It was not a landslide one way or the other. So maybe that's what Kirby's thinking. Like, hey, man, I'm just trying to figure out back to back to back. Can I not deal with all that? Because I'm going to have half of my Georgia folks happy and half my Georgia folks mad no matter what I do.
Yeah.
So let me just chill.
Kirby should have just went Angel Reese and said, yo, we going to Donnie's house. Angel Reese just said, no, we miss me with that, Joe Biden. We'll go to the Obamas. Obama's over here like, you weren't even invited over here.
Oh, my God. What do you say? Hey, you know what? We'll go to, what's it called? Mar-a-Lago? We'll go to Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, something like that.
We'll help them file documents. We'll go to Mar-a-Lago. We'll do whatever you need.
By the way, speaking of Angel Reese, you see that swimsuit? She's Sports Illustrated swimsuit?
What? Who? What?
Angel Reese.
Really?
Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. I've seen a couple pics and stuff.
You waited this
Not
long?
too shabby. I mean, it just came up naturally. We're talking about Angel Reese. I wasn't thinking about it.
You waited this long to tell me?
Yeah.
We had prep earlier today?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Is there a picture I can go look at?
I mean, I would have been a little concerned if you would have came in and I would have came in. The first thing I said was, yo, you see Angel Reese, boy? Yo, that thing thangin' all the right places. The married man that I am. So just naturally, us talking about her, now it comes out.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
That's okay.
Yeah, natural conversation. I text earlier is Chris Berman, 68 years old. I know there's plenty of jokes and weird things to say about Chris Berman, but he was one of my favorites growing up. He's one of the original ESPN crowd, and for a while, him and Tom Jackson on NFL Sunday Highlights was the coolest thing in the world.
One of the coolest things ever.
Yeah.
And every time I think of Mike Allstott, I think of Chris Berman. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, it's so fire. Yo, and that's a big reason why, see, Chad, you weren't a video game guy, but y'all video game heads, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. ESPN, when they had rights to the NFL too, not just EA Sports or Madden, they had ESPN Football 2K4 in 2004. 2K4 had a weird picture of just Warren Sapp on the cover, just his face, like full face shot. Like that's all you saw. No helmet, no pads on just straight face. And then TO was on 2K5, one of the greatest video games of all time, not just for the gameplay, but also for like the real life look of the NFL on ESPN with Chris Berman. And it was incredible how they meshed it together.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, God, I miss those days.
That is good stuff. And the whoop and all the stuff they used
Berman,
to do.
Tom, man.
And the nicknames eventually did jump the shark and they got really old. But that first wave of when he started doing nicknames for everybody, there were some funny ones he would come up with.
I don't know how many years he's got left with the Four Letter Network. They're trying to keep him around.
Dude, now they're pushing him to just streaming, and because he and Booger are on was he and Booger still doing it last year?
Yeah.
They still did primetime, but it was only on Plus. That wasn't on regular TV.
Like they were still doing the Fast of 3 minutes, right?
They do that during Monday Night Football.
Okay.
So he's on a little bit at a time. Yeah, it's almost like they feel like they're pushing. It's almost like he's got some guaranteed contract where you got to let me do something and pay me this amount for I don't know how long. And then maybe one day he's just gone. I don't know.
It's sad, man. Those Hubie Brown and Dickie V and Berman and stuff, all those guys, they're toward the end.
Dude, I heard Hubie the other night
Oh,
rocking on that NBA game.
Yo, what was the
Killing
Miami
it.
game? He was good. Yeah,
Killing it. God, he was awesome.
It was like his first game on playoffs, it seemed like.
Dude, he's like 88, 89 or whatever the hell he is right now. He sounds like Bear on game day giving stats. It's crazy when he starts spitting all those stats. All right, coming up, we'll get you stems and seeds before we get out of here. Set you up for the afternoon and evening. We got a full lineup for you, including Mark Henry coming up on actually a couple of the shows. We'll give you the details next on The Horn. All right, just about done on a Wednesday. Should I know this one, Zay? This sounds very modern.
Yep, you have no chance.
I have no shot here.
This is the king of mumble rap.
The king of mumble rap. Okay, who is it?
Lil Yachty.
Lil Yachty. Okay.
Lil Yachty. He will be at ACL also.
All right. How
People hate mumble rap, and I'm not the biggest fan. But if I were to listen to anybody, it would be Yachty. He's the best mumble rapper there is.
So when we say mumble rap, are you saying you don't understand the words?
No, I understand.
Or is it the
them.
way it's presented? Like, why is it called mumble rap?
Somebody like you might have a hard time understanding
Okay.
the words. That's all.
Okay.
Just see how fast he's rapping, kind of rapping about nonsense,
Okay.
talking about being on lean and taking drugs and stuff. That's basically mumble rap.
Okay. All right. Well, guys have rapped about being on lean before,
Oh,
right?
for sure.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. All right. Lil Yachty, Kendrick Lamar, Shania Twain, Foo Fighters, Alanis Morissette, Caliuchis will all be at ACL, along with Glorilla. We had that beat earlier in the hour as well. Make your plans for ACL. The full list is out there that you can go check out. Thanks to everybody who texted in. Specs text line 337-3776 on the whole Georgia White House thing. I guess for some it's a big story. For us, not necessarily that big a deal. But now we're on a run where teams aren't really going to the White House in terms of the college football teams. But I did read that the Braves in 21 went to the White House, and obviously there was some of the back with the Warriors teams that didn't want to go. Now sports and politics and stuff have kind of wrapped themselves up into one another, and it is not like it was back in the day. So, hey, what are you going to do? Everybody's got their choice, and some teams want to go, and some teams don't want to go, and so we'll see what happens. June 12th, I think, is when. But let me make sure I get the right meeting down, because isn't June 12th when? Or is it maybe before then, when Angel Reese and LSU are going? They're going at some point. I think they are going to go.
Okay.
Angel Reese and Jill Biden having a glass of lemonade and talking life. That's what I want to see.
All right.
Let's do that. Let's get them talking.
We'll talk about this tomorrow, because where we at, I already got it ready. Has a little bit to do with LSU's women's basketball team.
Okay,
so we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Fair enough. And by the way, I did do some research during the break. Angel Reese and the new NIL deal, apparently, with SI swimsuit. Good for you.
Genius.
Not just in the swimsuit issue, which I don't even know if there is an actual hard copy swimsuit issue anymore. I hope there still is, but I think they kind of maybe are heading away from that. But the pictures look incredible.
Oh, yeah. She looked good.
I mean, I didn't think she was going to look bad. She's,
Yeah.
6'2", 6'3".
6'3".
Basketball player.
Yeah.
It's going to work.
Yeah, she ain't called the Bayou Barbie for no reason.
Generally, those bodies don't look awful in a bikini. Generally, right? Swimsuits with the basketball body, usually going to be terrible. All right, so all that going on today. If you missed it in basketball, apparently Bob Huggins gets to keep his job, just get the salary reduced, have a suspension that we'll find out about, and have sensitivity training. I want to pay to see the sensitivity training on television, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Also, congrats to Texas baseball. They got the win over UTA last night, 10-5. Powell, Thomas, and Brown each hit a homer, and Charlie Hurley runs that record to 4-0. Got the win, 5 nice innings. Did give up a couple runs, but went 5 and got the win. And Dylan Campbell, congrats, 1 for 4, 27-game hit streak now. Let's get you a couple other stems and seeds before we get out of here. Brought to you by AV Consultations, 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. Again, a 27-game hit streak for Dylan Campbell, extending the all-time record. Can you imagine playing Texas baseball, wearing that uniform, and you've done something none of the others did? You're just by yourself? That's crazy.
That's tough to do.
And I love a hitting streak in baseball, Zay. That's one of the freakiest records I think you can have, because it takes so much just to do that each and every game, and it's got to be consecutive.
A lot of luck, too.
Right. Just all the stuff that has to come together. That's cool stuff.
The ball could come out off the bat over 100 miles per hour, and it could still end up in somebody's mitt.
Right. Yeah, you could just smoke one to the third baseman, and it's over.
Right.
Couple strikeouts, hit one to the third baseman, and it's done.
That's it.
Yeah. Good for him. It's 27-game streak. They will play San Jose State this weekend. Friday at 6:30 is the next game. Here's a congrats we need to get out there. Casey Thompson has found another home. He's not quite Brew McCoy in terms of the transfers, but he's getting there. He's not quite Tate Martell. But my God, Casey Thompson, this is stop number 4 now? 3.
This is stop number 3.
Texas.
He flirted with Oklahoma.
Flirted with OU.
He flirted with them.
He went Texas, Nebraska. Now it's going to be FAU, correct?
Yeah.
He didn't go to Utah.
No.
A couple other guys went to Utah.
Correct.
I'm mixing those up. Okay. So Casey Thompson reunited with Tom Herman?
Yeah, he's with anorexic-looking Tom Herman now, and we'll see how it goes. Obviously, they're familiar with one another.
Hey, you know what? You told people not to shame Adele when she dropped a few. You can't be shaming Tom Herman for dropping a few.
That's true, but
Come on.
you know Tom's just a weird guy, so I kind of question how that weight got lost. That's all I'm saying. And Adele has a certain sex appeal about her with the weight loss.
I see.
So big difference there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. He had a specially made grill that the dude made for him from Houston. It just has a lock